Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
So live on a Tuesday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next three. We'll hit the real truth at 10 o'clock. How many starts will Will Howard get in Pittsburgh this year, if any? Mike Renner going to join us at 10:30. Some more draft fallout, some UM coaches fallout from one of their many discretions through the years. So we'll get to all of that as it goes along. But I did want to start here. So driving NBC to school today, he was in a kind of a sour mood, as sometimes happens with 13-year-olds. So I was listening to Morning Juice, and we were just driving in, and they were telling the story about Belichick and Miss Hudson and reliving that a little bit. And we're nearly to school, and he looks up and he goes, "Dad, can I ask you a question?" I said, "Yeah, go ahead. What do you need?" "Do you think 100 men could beat a gorilla in a fight?" Depends on the men. Depends on the strategy. I said, "Where's this coming from?" He goes, "I saw it on TikTok." So then I get home and I put 100 men versus gorilla into Google, and in the last 24 hours, it's everywhere. Newsday, USA Today, all over social. 100 men versus a gorilla. Now, you guys have been to the Columbus Zoo. You've seen the silverbacks. I tell you,
no.
I think I take the men, but it's got to be coordinated, and it can't be like three dudes like us. It's got to be coordinated. There's got to be a plan. I think you have to prepare. There's got to be a great deal of preparation. I think you've got to understand that there's going to be a lot of loss of life. A lot. I don't think we understand, sometimes I'm not sure we understand the size and the strength of a silverback and what you're dealing with there. I mean, it feels like they could lift like a ton up over their head. Feels like. By the way, they also have the teeth, so they could just start gnawing your head off at any point. So I think it takes a specific type of men. The 100 men, I would want to draft the right 100 men. I don't think it could just be any 100 men. I think you're going to have one of the things my cousin told me when he was in basic training is for the first 2 weeks, they just train you to not ask the question why. The whole point of the early part of basic training, according to him, and it's a long time ago that he's into it, was you just do what you're told. You don't ask why. You just do it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And away you go. And that's it. I need those guys. Because I think at least the first 25 or 30, it's it's D-Day. It's you've seen Saving Private Ryan when the ships pull up and everybody jumps out. The first several rows are just obliterated. I think that's what's coming with the silverback. So I think we got to be coordinated. It's got to be the right type of men.
Yeah, 100 Eric Reesers, no. 100 Bobby Carpenters, maybe. 100 Mountain from the Game of Thrones, probably. Because all it would take to down a man is a swing from a gorilla.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And you consider the drop in morale that would give a dozen or so men that are within swinging vicinity of the gorilla. And the gorilla's not, at that point, there's no changing the gorilla's mind. It's going. I don't think so. You could be 100 mountains, yes.
100 from Game of Thrones.
But that's going to be a hell of a fight because
it's everywhere. It's on new. This is in the Newsweek story, which was published in the last. This is all anyone's talking about. Is this? In a battle between logic and hubris, 100-man, one gorilla entered the fray over the weekend after one social media user's post suggested men, if organized effectively, would emerge victorious in such a matchup, and it went viral. 200 million views of this thing. 200 million views of this post.
I mean, you've got to pile onto the gorilla so it can't move, and 100 humans
and all at once.
200 pounds could, and then you've got to just go for the gorilla's head.
If you don't have a weapon, I don't know.
Right.
It's so funny that you're talking about this because one of the things that I do every morning when I get in here to show prep is take a tour of Twitter, and this was all over Twitter.
It's everywhere.
All over Twitter.
I hadn't heard anything about it, Bake, and then NBC he didn't say a word. It's a 13-minute car ride. He did not say a word the whole time, and then we're about ready to drop off, and he goes, let me ask you a question. All right, go ahead.
If the gorilla starts ripping limbs, you can fashion a bone shiv, and a couple of bone shivs would take him down.
How you gonna? You got
100. You got 100 men.
How you gonna take the flesh off the bone to get the shiv?
Oh, the gorilla already did that.
Oh, he took.
I'm using the gorilla's work against him because you never know.
Somebody did this. Yeah. This is Newsweek. Kind of was laying this out. An adult male silverback gorilla weighs between 300 and 500 pounds. Estimates suggest a gorilla is between 4 to 9 times stronger than a trained human male. So again, that's the training part, which is critical. The upper body strength is immense. They can carry down small trees, bend iron bars in captivity. Gorillas have thick skin, dense muscles, making them extremely hard to injure without weapons. They are used to intense physical confrontations with They're used to intense physical So is this one from this is the other thing. Are we going Jane Goodall? Or are we going one from the Columbus Zoo that's been in captivity the whole time?
Oh,
he's not going to know.
Yeah.
If you go to Africa and you get one from over there, I think that you might need 200 men at that point.
Listen, we just watched video of a goose taking out a tiger.
That was a captive tiger.
Captive tiger, though.
I don't care. That's a
maybe
goose.
in the wild, likely bred in captivity.
We can do it.
Let me tell you something, brother. You get Hulk Hogan, one big boot, and drop the leg. That gorilla's out for the 1, 2, 3.
All right. So Newsweek did this. So the men, who are the 100 men? That's the first thing I asked. If they are untrained civilians, most would be physically weaker and would lack the knowledge to coordinate an effective assault. If they're trained fighters or soldiers, their ability to strategize and work together greatly improves. Fear, no kidding. Gorillas are terrifying. Humans would likely be terrified. Yeah, if you're guy 17 and you're coming at them in waves and the first 15 are absolutely torn to pieces by this thing, are you the one who's going to climb over the carcass to go take him on? So I got to have guys who are Army Ranger trainees who are just doing what they're told and falling in line. That you got to have that, because any of the rest of us out there, the normal society, we're like, yeah, I'm good. I'll see you on down the road.
Listen, I'm pretty sure a gorilla doesn't want to kick to the groin just like none of us do. So
how could you get near him? I mean, he's flailing.
Yeah,
right?
good luck with that.
You got 100 of us. Listen, somebody's got to be on the front line and be the sacrifice, right?
There's going to be a lot of it.
Do we know enough about,
I think at least 30 are dead, quick.
Gorilla.
I think the other thing that's here is what environment are we fighting the gorilla in?
And do we know enough
about...
football
field, I think we're really in trouble. If it's a confined space, I think you have a chance.
Gorilla pain receptors. Where does it feel pain? If you do low blow the gorilla, is it all of a sudden just now angrier?
I mean, give it the old eye poke.
That's true.
Can't see. There's all kinds of
things.
Kick
to the midsection and a stone cold stunner, and that thing's.
Right. Here's your the potential outcomes on Newsweek. If the 100 men panic, scatter, or fail to coordinate, the gorilla would pick them off in smaller groups. No question. I mean, if fear dominates, the men would break rank. A gorilla could kill multiple people with a few swipes or bites. No question. Now, the human win scenario, every human win scenario is based on coordination. It's lack of fear, understanding the human sacrifice that's coming, and it's the coordination of the fight. That's every single way humans win. If we are cowardly, as we mostly are, gorilla takes us out.
So
you got to be willing to sacrifice for the greater good.
So we've got to ambush this thing like the Cleveland Cavaliers did to the Miami Heat.
That's right.
Heat.
You need all of them in. I think 100 at once. Like you'd need almost like a circle around it. Like the old days, like Roman, like Caesar, like that. Like how they would just come in waves, like you're up, you're up, you're up. That's what it would need to be. A whole circle around him, like 10 deep each, and just next. And you'd have to all go at once. You could not have hesitation.
Yeah, the idea that there has to be that much going your way for you to even have a chance against the thing is why I'd put my money on the gorilla.
Hunter said you need 30 guys who are willing to end up like Oberyn Martell.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those are Those are going to line up for you.
You need 30 guys.
The greater good.
This is for the greater good of society. We're going in. You're going in. And then if the next 30 of you all kind of like try and just all at once in a wave, I just think humans are cowards, and I think a lot of them would flee. It'd have to be a situation where you were like in a contained area and you couldn't get out, and the only way out was to defeat the gorilla. That's where I'm at. That solves that. I think that's the solution on it. But so that's the morning. That was 2 minutes before drop off. Dad, I got a question for you. Oh, okay. Well, I think I can use that.
I wonder what was going through his mind the 13 minutes before he asked.
Swiping through social media nonsense.
Oh, you're playing out those scenarios.
Nothing. Yeah. Bunch of idiots who are like the guys who prank Shedeur Sanders.
I mean, that's what TikTok is. Yeah. Is 40 swipes, one thing of consequence, 40 more swipes, another thing of consequence. Instagram booty model.
That's right. 13 minutes of nonsense for, this is interesting. I'm going to ask Dad. 100 men versus a gorilla. I would roll with the gorilla because I think men are cowards, by and large. I just don't know that there's enough that are willing to take that and witness what would come from that type of beatdown. Here's a transition for you. Michigan got pinched again, but what pound of flesh is going to be enough on all of this to satisfy a Buckeye Nation? Will they ever get it? We will get to that. We're loaded up on a Tuesday. Have a little fun along the way. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Wendy's has this new Cajun Crunch chicken sandwich. And to be honest, I'm kind of crushing hard on this Sammy. It's packed with bold Cajun flavors and topped with crispy onions for a satisfying crunch. All on Wendy's iconic spicy chicken sandwich. It's honestly kind of my dream sandwich. I hope it likes me back. For a sandwich you'll love, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
This summer, something wild is coming to your Columbus Zoo. The all-new North America Trek opens soon. Get closer than ever to Mexican wolves, river otters, and more in stunning new habitats. Experience wildlife and conservation in action. Plan your visit today at columbuszoo.org.
Hey guys, don't waste time and money with low-quality online TRT that charges you over $100 just to start. Visit the TRT experts today at Low T Center for a free consultation and free test. The treatment is personalized to your body, and most major insurance is accepted. And you'll get the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment. The offer is limited, so book now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
Buy now with pre-tariff pricing at Coughlin Kia. Lease a new 2025 Kia K4, just $195 a month plus taxes and fees. Or choose low 1.9% financing for 60 months on a new 2025 Kia Sportage or Sorrento. Visit CoughlinKia.com.
Coughlin has the car for you.
1.9% for 60 months equals $18.37 per 1,000 with approved credit through Kia Motor Finance. 24-month lease, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents per mile over. 2025 due. Excludes $250 off fee, $400 disposition fee at lease end. No security deposit. See dealer for details. Ends 4/30/25.
From the hardwood to the warehouse, performance matters. That's why Caster Connection, proudly based in Columbus and trusted nationwide, delivers industrial caster and wheel solutions to keep operations rolling smoothly. With an unrivaled online inventory and the best consultative experts in the industry, we'll help you find the right caster for any job. Shop now at casterconnection.com and save 10% on online orders with promo code ROLL10.
Not a retail location.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring into savings at Ohio Mulch. Get your mulch as easy as ever. Save $50 on home delivery now through Sunday. All you got to do is visit ohiomulch.com today.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply.
All your favorite and least favorite fan shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in 971 The Fan to the search bar and hit that subscribe button. It's free.
We're the land of the free and the home of the sunburnt, freckled fat guy.
Do it now.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today is a 10 TV weather impact alert day for strong to severe storms this afternoon into the evening. We will start off partly sunny with highs climbing into the low 80s and breezy winds developing. And then after the storms pass, lows tonight down into the 50s. Cooler on Wednesday with chances of rain in the second half of the day. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination. If you love a good pie analogy,
think of the cap as a pie. And once you take out one piece, there's less left for the next guy.
Then this is the radio show for you. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, quiz with this. He texted me. He said his son went. I knew his son was at West Point. They still train them not to ask why, just do what you're told. So essentially, that's what I need for my kids. Is that like that's my entire goal. Oh God, it's everywhere now. We talked about it, so now I'm getting fed it. I just think you better have, like, NBC was so convinced, like, he thought him and his buddies could do it. To which I said, you're idiots. Like, there's no way a bunch of 13.
The ignorance of youth.
Yeah, there's no way. And by the way, I said, oh, men are cowards. I'm a coward. If I'm guy 22 and I see what happens to the first 18, I'm gone. I'm a ghost. I'll see you on down the road. I mean, I'm not jumping on anything.
Listen,
you'd have to be locked in is the only way.
We need that ignorance, though, in some of these guys, right? We need some smart guys to plan and strategize, but we just need that youthful ignorance, and we might be able to get it done.
You think what type of shape is the gorilla allowed to train? What type of
training does a gorilla do? His life is the training.
Like the gorilla hitting the speed bag? Yeah.
Well, no, I mean like his cardiovascular.
I don't know if it needs to be.
Does he need it?
In tip-top cardio shape to just swing its arms wildly and bite heads off.
Paul on social with a good one. He goes, inmates, win and you're free. That would have to be the mentality. That's pretty good out of him. You get me 100 inmates on death row, win and you're free. Now I've got motivation. Now they're the worst people. But now you have to have that. You have to have that motivation. So I either want Army Rangers or 100 Army Rangers, or I want that. That you have to have fight or flight is the only way you're going to survive it. Okay, so I keep seeing this stuff on. It comes across on social. I see it on 11 Warriors. I see it on the Guys with Buckeye Scoop, and I see these updates on Michigan and the trouble that they're in. And we know that Harbaugh has been, as I've said many times, he's Danny Ocean. That's what he is. He did it. Everybody knows it. He won, and then he got away, kind of scot-free. He lives in Orange County. He's coaching the Chargers. He's never going to, he's got a show cause. So what? You think Jim Harbaugh is going to come coach somewhere else in college football? Like, he coached his alma mater to a national title. Like, there's no more, he's not coming back. Like, this is the last job he's going to have as a head coach of professionals in big-time sports, is head coach of the Chargers. I don't think at his age he's going to come back and coach at, UC Santa Barbara and get the Gauchos rolling. I just don't see it. So to me, I don't understand the penalty on that. But those penalties continue to come. So this was yesterday. 2 former Michigan assistants received show cause penalties from the NCAA on Monday for the recruiting violations they committed during their time with the Wolverines. I'll say parenthetically, I don't care about any of this. Recruiting violations? Are you kidding me? For what recruiting is now? We're going to punish people for what they did then compared to what it is now? I don't care. You get me to the Spygate stuff, the sign steal stuff. Okay, now I'm now I want to know. This is what I want to know. And we're still waiting on that. Former Michigan defensive coordinator Jesse Minter received a 1-year show cause, while former Michigan secondary coach Stephen Clinkscale received a 2-year show cause order from the NCAA as a negotiated resolution. So they took this voluntarily, stemming from the notice of allegations Michigan received in January of 23. Think how flippin' slowly this works. My God. They were given the notice of allegations 2 years ago regarding the recruiting violations. Everything Michigan has received so far is separate from the Connor Stallions sign stealing scandal. What's the pound of flesh on this? What satisfies you? They've already said they're not taking the national title away, right? We know that. Charlie Baker said that's not it. So what would do it? Like, is Sharon Moore going to get a show cause for the sign stealing? Maybe. So and I always thought there was a chance he was a sacrificial lamb anyway. That was always kind of my theory. Like, we know that we're going to get hit for this. Let's have it be him. That's kind of the way it always seemed to be anyway. I just don't know what is, by the time this ever comes to pass, I mean, is this going to be 2027 and we're going to relitigate something that happened in the 2024-23 football season? And what's the punishment that would be painful enough? Is it financial? That's usually where I go first is, all right, this would be painful if all of a sudden you got a big financial penalty. That's usually the only thing that really makes somebody stop in their tracks. I don't think there's any show cause penalty or even a penalty to Sharon Moore. Maybe in recruiting, like, you can't recruit off campus for the next two years, maybe something like that. They're not taking away that national title. And even if they did, we all watched it. So I have a hard time coming to grips with, like, what is appropriate and what would be satisfactory. What pound of flesh would as a Buckeye Nation, you'd go, yeah, that feels about right.
I was thinking about this yesterday as the House NCAA settlement is kind of nearing completion, where the judge just wants them to figure out what to do with the roster limits and if those are just going to be hard capped or they're going to grandfather in limits over the next couple of years. And maybe that's what you do with Michigan. You give them a postseason ban and you cut in half their roster size. Because the scholarship thing, they can finagle if they have boosters like Larry Ellison.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have to have scholarship numbers.
No.
But then you say, all right, your roster goes from 105. You're only allowed to have 85 for the next 2 seasons. And you cripple them from that standpoint. Because you're not making a postseason run if you've got 3/4 of the roster as the rest of the teams in the Big Ten.
So I think a postseason ban, if that included, obviously, the college football playoff, could work, because now everybody would just leave, right? If they don't get a chance to play in the college football playoff, everybody's going to bolt from there. So that would hurt them, I think. But, Bo, I'm with you. I will tell you, the day I quit caring about all this is the day that Ohio State lost to them after all this came out. And I was like, well, you had your chance. Now, I know that Michigan team was really, really good, and they obviously ended up winning a national championship. But when Ohio State lost to them that day, that was the day I quit caring because I was like, you could have shut them up, and you didn't.
That's where I am. I'm with you. Like, I do think that what you said first there, Bake, was kind of the Doyle on social with that as well, saying the postseason ban would be the one that would feel satisfactory because that would be the house of cards crumbling. This is the thing that about the postseason bans that would be so punitive is the climate of college football now. If they had a 2-year postseason ban, it would be a mass exodus of players. And so that's where it would really hurt them, is there.
And to me, I was against postseason bans in the past because I felt like it punished people that weren't involved. It punished players that were involved because before players couldn't go anywhere. Now it's free market. They can do whatever they want. They'll all enter the transfer portal and they'll leave the program. So it's not as bad to me now as it used to be.
Well, and also Michigan kind of laughed in the face of it, right? Because they promoted Sharon Moore. I mean, he was in it. He was on the team. He was in the coaching staff. It's not like when Harbaugh left, it's not like they started from scratch. I mean, they kept Moore, and he certainly would have known about the sign stealing and everything that went into it. I wonder how Michigan fans feel about it. I wonder where they are with it. Are they just kind of like, yeah, not much? And I think they probably lean on what we just alluded to, right? They say, look, so what? We played when it was all exposed and we won anyway.
I have met some Michigan fans that dislike it and say that it put a stain on their program and whatnot, but I think most of them are like, we won a national championship. Who cares?
Yeah, that's the deal with the devil thing, right? Is the give back enough for it? And I think the answer to it is yeah. For most of them, it was. You got what you. When Jim Harbaugh was hired, he got to walk out on exactly what the expectations were. And you think about the flip that they had from cannot beat Ohio State to now all of a sudden cannot lose and a national championship mixed in. You'd probably sign up for all of it, even if it is postseason bans in the next couple of years. If that's what comes of it.
That's the biggest thing, right? Like, when is this going to happen? Because we're already seeing, recruiting violations that Minter and Klingscale were alleged to have committed years ago. Now they're just being decided upon. So the NCAA is going to move at its molasses pace. 3-4 years, maybe they come up with something.
What I mean.
And then there's the appeal process.
Right.
So you're looking 2030, I think, by the time you see anything real on this. And at that point, does anybody care? Probably not.
No, of course not. No, you blew it, boy. I mean, did you hear me when I said when the notice of allegations were? January of 23? And it took over 2 years to get to show cause? I mean, no, I just think if you're a Buckeye fan, you're waiting for your pound of flesh. It's going to be a long, long wait, and I don't know if it'll be satisfactory. It was a very big weekend for the teams in the AFC North. A lot of them had to hit on things. Some of them did. We will go over some of those picks, what we liked, what we didn't. You'll hear from some of the principals coming up next. That's in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.50%, APR 6.56% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
All right, here's what's up on a Tuesday edition of the program. NFL draft now in the rear view, and so the questions now become, did everybody get what they wanted to get out of the draft around the AFC North? This is obviously the division we pay closest attention to and the teams we play closest attention to. Let's start with the Browns. If I were to tell you guys before the start of the NFL draft that the Browns are going to end up with Mason Graham and Quinshon Judkins and Schlesinger, the linebacker out of UCLA, and they were going to get Harold Fannin Jr., and they were able to get Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders and a first-round pick in 2026, you would have said what?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd have been
a hell of a haul.
I'd have been pretty happy with that.
Yeah. I still wanted Travis Hunter, but I'd have been okay with it. This was a fine second-place finish.
I think the Hunter thing is going to be I'm very fascinated about the Hunter usage in Jacksonville and what that plan is. I never got really. It's hard because, Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski have talked about Travis Hunter a lot in the process because it was assumed that they were drafting him for the last month. And so you listen to what they have to say, and Andrew Berry even said this at the Combine, like we view him as a wide receiver. So I'm curious how Tennessee views him. I'm sorry, Jacksonville views him. Do they view him as a weapon? And then what do they do with him defensively? Do they have him play? My thought on it was maybe have him just play like deep rover and just be a center fielder and just on passing downs, just read quarterback and make ball plays. That's probably what I would do with him is have him major in offensive football and then kind of moonlight as like a back half. I got this. Anything deep, I'm going to go pick it off. That's probably what I would do with him right away. But they will. There's no question about this. Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski, Paul DePodesta, the brain trust up there, they're going to be judged not just by what their players do, but juxtaposed to what Travis Henry does in Jacksonville. That will be hanging. There is forever the Julio Jones thing. This is what happens when you trade back. When you trade back, you got to hit on what you got, and then you kind of got to hope that what you gave up doesn't. That's the tricky thing there, right? And in this instance for the Browns, you really hope it doesn't because you have Jacksonville's pick going forward. I think the Browns addressed a lot of needs. I still think they have a lot of needs. They addressed some of those at wide receiver yesterday. They signed Deontay Johnson, former Steelers and Ravens. What happened to him?
Well, his act got stale with 3 teams last year. Steelers didn't want him, or the Ravens didn't want him. They went to the Steelers, and they weren't thrilled with his behavior. And then when he was with the Texans for a month, he was caught bitching about how his usage was down in their playoff game as they were celebrating a playoff win.
That's right.
So they sent him away, but Cleveland doesn't have any money to pay for receivers, so here's your next chance.
Well, they didn't draft any either.
Mm-hmm. Cleveland went against our rule, Reese. If the Steelers give up on a wide receiver, do not take them.
There's been a few.
Steelers, the Ravens, the Texans.
Who was that guy from Notre Dame that they had?
Claypool, Chase Claypool.
Oh, my God, Chase Claypool that the Bears gave up. And that
Joey
was a
Porter
disaster.
Jr.
Yeah.
It's a total mess they gave up to get him. And that was for Fields, right? They traded for him for Fields to give him weaponry? Gosh almighty, NFL teams. What's the hit rate? 50%? They miss so much.
That seems generous.
Stuff. Unless you're like the Ravens, typically historically the Steelers, but like the Ravens, the Packers, like the majority of the 49ers, the Rams have a good hit rate. The majority of these teams, it's like 50% at best that they hit on all of this stuff. So one of the things that did come out of the draft from the Browns' perspective is they have now 4 quarterbacks in their room. They have the 2 rookies, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders. They have Joe Flacco, and they have Kenny Pickett, and they traded for Pickett. So now all of a sudden there's 4 of them. So what does that look like by the time we get to camp? Andrew Berry, at post-draft press conference, weighed in on the drafting of the 2 quarterbacks. Here's what he had to say.
Just like I could probably say the plan wasn't necessarily to take 2 running backs. Like you envision how the draft could possibly play out, and then you just really adjust to what's on the board. And like I said, like we don't really go into the draft saying, okay, like, hey, here are our needs, and we're just going to pick player like at need positions. If you do that, that's typically how you make mistakes. So there is a little bit of a flow to the weekend because the board does take different twists and turns as you go. Some expected, some unexpected, and ultimately we try and do everything in our power to maximize the impact of the picks we have in aggregate. And part of the reason you have to do that is being flexible.
So here's what I think is going to happen with. But by the way, everything he said makes sense, right? Like, you didn't think Dylan Sampson was going to be there when you were picking. But all of a sudden he is. You're like, wow, we have him as a 3rd-round talent. They didn't anticipate drafting Shedeur Sanders. They got their quarterback. It was Dylan Gabriel. He's the one they liked second best in this draft behind Cam Ward. But all of a sudden you're in the 5th round, and here's a top 35 talent. And, boy, this kind of a low-risk, high-potential reward on this. Let's take a swing. I haven't seen one person who's had a problem with that part of it. So then the question becomes, all right, you get to camp. What does this look like? How are you going to handle 4 quarterbacks? This is my hunch. I think early on in the season, they'll keep all 4. Because I think what this season has to be about for the Cleveland Browns, it has to be about is Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, or Shedeur Sanders the quarterback of the future? That's it. Now, could they sneak in and be a wild card team or try their defense is really good. Their defense is going to be really good. So can they sneak in and do that? They're going to have playing a last place schedule. That helps. Could they sneak in? Maybe. I think it's a tall order. There's a 3-14 team from a year ago, but they have a pretty loaded running back room right now. They're really good at tight end. Wide receivers, a little bit of a hodgepodge as you're putting that together. They did put a very rarely, you never see this, the unrestricted free agent tender to Elijah Moore. They did that yesterday. So what this does is it allows Moore to count as part of a compensatory free agent if he signs with another team before the compensatory formula deadline. So Moore visited with the Bills. He had 61 catches for the Browns yesterday. So basically what this says is, you're going to come back here, and if you go somewhere else, we're going to get compensation for it, is what that amounts to. But I think they're going to carry the 4 quarterbacks. I do. I think that their job this year is to figure out if Kenny Pickett, who's 15-10 as a starter, was a first-round pick a couple of years ago, if he can be a long-term solution in this offense. I think that's job one. They went out and acquired him. They brought him in. He's been there for a month. In this offense, the thinking is that the offense that he had in Pittsburgh did not fit his skill set. So does this offense fit the skill set? Can Kenny see it the way Kevin wants him to see it, and can he be successful? Then, once that question's answered, then you apply that exact same line of questioning to Shedeur Sanders and to Dylan Gabriel. And so I think all 3 of them, unless somebody grabs it, and I think Kenny will get the first chance, all 3 of them, you're going to want to see him play football games this year. You kind of got to know what you got. And then I think Flacco's just over all of it. He's just the safety blanket over all of it. I mean, he's the adult in the room, right? And I know that that's not something he's probably crazy about, but one thing he said about a week ago is like, look, I'm not here to mentor anybody, but at the same time, like, we're going to have a room that all rows in the same direction. So I think that's kind of what that's about. So that's my hunch, fellas. I think you're going to see at the start of this season, early next year, you'll see 4 quarterbacks carried by the Browns.
Yeah, I think for the Browns, it's a pretty good spot to be in. I'm interested in. You obviously don't hope for an injury, but if there's a catastrophic quarterback injury sometime late August, early September, is someone calling for one of Cleveland's quarterbacks? Is that an issue that either you get a quarterback like a Flacco or a Pickett, or you rely on Cousins, or who knows what Aaron Rodgers does in the next couple of weeks? But it does seem for Cleveland, if you got those 4 quarterbacks, you have a lot more flexibility, I think, than you thought this time last week you would have at that position.
Yeah.
In training camp, you don't need to see any Joe Flacco, right?
No.
You know what he is, and he's already got experience throwing to some of these receivers that are on the team. And, I don't think he threw to Jerry Jeudy at all.
You're right, not Jerry Jeudy.
But
right.
you really don't need to see any Joe Flacco in training camp. Just let the 3 young guys roll.
I agree. I think in preseason, too. In preseason ball. Like, pick it for a quarter, and then the other 2 split the other 3 quarters. You got to see what you have in those guys. And hopefully, let's be real honest. The only real way to dig out of the Deshaun Watson situation is for one of these guys to be a winning lottery ticket. That's it. There's really no other path. That's the path. Is one of these guys is better than you anticipated them being. And maybe hit a lottery ticket on one of them, and if not, you're right back in this game next year hoping to do it again. And I would just keep drafting them until you get them. Because you're never going to see one reach free agency again, right? And the only reason Watson reached free agency is because of the off-field stuff. That's it. There was no other reason that he reached free agency, or became available, I should say. Didn't reach free agency, became available, was because of the off-field stuff. Those guys like that are never going to become available. So the only way to truly get one is to draft one. And if I'm them, I just keep drafting them until I get them. And at some point you will. It's just law of averages. At some point you'll get what you desire out of the position. So I think if you grade the Browns weekend from the perspective of from last Tuesday to what it ended up, it feels pretty good in terms of what the get back was, and also the pay it forward with the second first-round pick now in next year's draft. Cincinnati Bengals need a lot of defensive help. They got it. But what does it mean for Trey Hendrickson? And what exactly are the Steelers going to do at quarterback? Unless, of course, they already know. We'll get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic.
Oh, yes.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Okay, so I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Wendy's has this new Cajun Crunch chicken sandwich. And to be honest, I'm kind of crushing hard on this Sammy. It's packed with bold Cajun flavors and topped with crispy onions for a satisfying crunch. All on Wendy's iconic spicy chicken sandwich. It's honestly kind of my dream sandwich. I hope it likes me back. For a sandwich you'll love, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
Many drugs, like cocaine, methamphetamine, and non-prescription pills, are often cut with dangerous opioids like fentanyl. As a result, nearly 14 Ohioans die daily from unintentional overdoses. That's why it's important to carry naloxone, such as Narcan, a life-saving medication that blocks the effects of fentanyl and other opioids. Over the last 5 years, naloxone has saved over 83,000 lives. Help save lives and visit naloxone.ohio.gov to learn more and find free naloxone. Remember, if you see an overdose occurring, always call 911.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
One of my favorite things, Wilson, is the look on people's faces when they see the end price for Pella windows.
Yeah, I'm always hearing, does it look like I'm wearing my money breeches?
More like, I can't believe we get the Pella look and quality at these prices.
Oh, you went the other way with that. You're hearing good things. Oh, this is awkward.
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Ever wonder where your go-to maintenance person gets the metal products they need to fix yours and everyone else's problems? The best in the business go to Metal Supermarkets for their wide variety of metal products and shapes to tackle projects from simple to complex. Metal Supermarkets is your source for all metals cut to size and ready fast. No minimum order with maximum service. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or at Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
You know that project you've been working on? Just chipping away at it, dreaming of the day you get to show it off? Then, when you're least expecting it, cancer. And finishing that project actually happens. I would know. I've been restoring this car for years, and today I'm giving it to my granddaughter. It's her 16th birthday and 2 years since my cancer diagnosis.
Mom, you finished it?
Happy birthday, boo-boo. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
Hey, it's Anthony from my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. And Rich and his team are ready to get you in a great new Honda this spring. Purchase or lease. He's going to make you feel awesome about your next vehicle and your experience. Grab a hold of this one, a 2025 Honda Accord Hybrid Sport. Lease it for only $347 a month for 36 months, 30,000 miles, and only $19.99 down. He's got rates as low as 2.9%. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
May I have your attention for some important programming news? Sorry. T-Bone and Tyvis are hosting mornings, weekdays at 6, starting May 12th. That means Common Man and Timmy will share Bro Love at 3. The Fan.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
When I wake up
The best mornings
in the morning light,
start with Wrangler.
put on my jeans and I feel alright.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started on the right foot.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my old blue jeans on.
Good mornings make for better days.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my old blue jeans on.
Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Forever starts with the perfect diamond. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar, and for over 78 years, our family has helped generations of couples celebrate love with brilliance, quality, and unbeatable prices. At Diamond Cellar, bigger diamonds and better prices are our promise to you. Whether you're popping the question or upgrading your sparkle, trust the experts. Because diamonds, they're our forte. Visit us at Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road or at Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondcellar.com.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution Specialists.
If you say something with enough confidence, it must be true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
If you guys had to bet on any player drafted over the weekend to be a star, multiple Pro Bowls, let's not do Canton. Canton's too heady. It's too much. But when I ask you this question, I'm asking it from the perspective of it's not just talent, it's talent plus fit. Who's the one that you would say, sleep well at night, we got a good one?
Emeka?
I got to go back with what I said before the draft. Mason Graham. I thought that was a can't lose pick.
Feels safe. The thing is, though, is like if he's at 5 overall, he better make Pro Bowls, and he better get to the quarterback because you took a D tackle at 5 overall. So he doesn't have to be Aaron Donald, but he needs to be like the baby rhino in Philly.
And I think he will. Like, I think he's a difference maker, but what if he just frees up enough for Myles Garrett to go crazy?
I don't think you can do that at 5 overall, though, Bake, do you? I think
know.
at 5 overall, you better be a Pro Bowler.
And I guess I think he will be. Like, that was the safest pick in the draft.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of folks that feel that way. I certainly understand where Reese is coming with Mac. Like, it's hard to imagine him not being a 1,000-yard receiver.
Well, even to that point, like, he's going to steal a lot of touchdowns from the Godwin and Mike Evans fantasy owners. Like, they're going to use those guys to get down the field, but they'll find Emeka, like, a lot. I think a lot in the red zone this season.
You also have to remember, like, Godwin's hurt significantly. Mm-hmm. So Mac's going to get a lot of run early.
I think another one, and they've got to figure out the quarterback position, someone to get him the ball over his career. But I think Tyler Warren to the Colts is pretty darn good.
It's funny you say that. That's one of the ones I had circled. It's hard to imagine that not working.
Just who's this quarterback?
Yeah, I know. I think Colston Loveland. Like, if you pull up the R-Lads Chicago Bears talent offensively. Staggering.
They loaded Caleb Williams the last 2 years with weapons.
Man, if he can't go with that.
Gosh, I wish the Browns would have drafted Luther Burden.
Yeah, that's weird. In the second, I think that the Schlesinger pick, though, clearly was okay. I mean, there's red flags with JOK, obvious, and I get it. Like, There's been no information out of there on him, so it's hard to know. But like severe, when you're talking about neck, that's just severe stuff. It feels like Will Campbell will hit. I don't see a scenario where he doesn't hit. The tackle out of LSU who went 4th overall to Vrabes. To me, like that feels like Elliott Wolf's a pretty good talent evaluator. He was up in Cleveland when John Dorsey was there. He really saw ball pretty good. It's hard for me to imagine Will Campbell not hitting too.
Love his attitude.
Yeah, I'm not as convinced on Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. I think Travis Hunter feels like really high ceiling, but it seems like the floor is like Percy Harvin, which is still really good. I mean, that's really good, but like go look at what Percy Harvin did in his career, and it's not number 2 pick in the draft type stuff. So I think that, and I am not sold on Cam Ward in Tennessee at all. At all. That situation seems like a little bit of a mess. I feel like Genty's going to be a lock in with the Raiders. Like, I think they'll lean on him. I could see him running for 1,200 yards in year 1.
That might be low.
Pretty easy. Yeah. Yeah, that feels like a good one. Look, I like what the Bengals did in terms of taking swings at defensive ends and defensive players. I think the next thing is what's going on with Trey Hendrickson. I'll tell you this, though. This is what I would say from a Bengals fan perspective. You've got Burrow, you've got Chase, you've got Higgins. Just get in. Just get in. And as a fan, what are you getting in return? You're going to get highly entertaining football. Fun to watch. You're going to be in every game. Even the games you lose, you're going to lose 38-35 because the defense isn't up to par. But you're going to score. And if you get in the dance, you give me that combination and that offense, and you put me up against anybody in the AFC, and I got a puncher's chance, no one's going to want to play Cincinnati. So the question is, can they withstand the 17 games? Can they keep Burrow, Higgins, and Chase healthy because they've all missed parts of seasons or games in their careers? If they can all stay healthy, then I don't see any reason why they don't get in. And if they're in, they're terrifying. Because you got to deal with that. You got to deal with an offense that's the expectation is to score a touchdown every possession, and it's a realistic expectation. They're not playing the field position game in Cincinnati. They're going to go put it in the paint. So they took a lot of swings defensively. I'm curious what happens with Hendrickson, if they can bring him back as well. I thought what Ben Baby said yesterday with us was pretty important when he said it feels like the Hendrickson market has cooled significantly. And so maybe that has allowed for a path back. And if that's the case, then we have been making fun of Mike Brown and his pie for a year and a half. He might be able to have the whole damn pie. He might be able to keep all of them.
Yeah, it's complete 180 from the narrative that's been around this organization only forever. And for Cincinnati, you said it about health because they've got the AFC North. They can outscore every team in.
Yeah.
If the three can remain healthy. Now, is Chase going to do another Triple Crown season? I don't know, but he doesn't have to. If they're going to, score 33 points a game, they'll be just fine in terms of making it in the playoffs. And then as we saw last season, I think they would have been the most terrifying team.
Oh, God, yeah. Nobody wanted
On the AFC side, you had to face Cincinnati Bengals. Nobody, I don't think, would have wanted anything to do with that.
No. What would that have been? Let me see. What would that have been last year from a playoff standpoint? They would have been the last team in. All right, let's see. So who was last in last year? Was it
Broncos?
7? Broncos?
Yeah, they played the Bills.
Okay. So in Buffalo, here comes Burrow, Chase, Higgins.
Yep.
Allen doesn't want that.
No, nobody wants that, man. Not at all. The waiting game on Pittsburgh. I mean, if you think of the division, Baltimore clearly at top, and then I got Cincinnati second because I just am waiting on Rodgers in Pittsburgh. And I assume that's going to get done at some point. Feels like they've known it. He knows it. So we'll see. But to me, the Pittsburgh-Cincinnati conversation is a very interesting one behind Baltimore. But Baltimore is set up for another run at this thing. And there will be a ton of pressure on that whole operation to – you think about the two teams in the AFC, to me, who have the most pressure, it's Baltimore and Buffalo. You've been in championship windows for 3 to 5 years. It's go time for both of those operations.
And Buffalo's pressure just comes playoff time. They don't have really a lot of pressure in the regular season. especially with the division they play in. But, yeah, all their pressure is can they get past Mahomes?
Speaking of Buffalo, their general manager had a moment yesterday on local sports radio that we're going to play for you coming up at 10:17. We'll hit the real truth coming up next. Second hour, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan.
Men, is good enough really what you want with your sex life? This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if erectile dysfunction is making for a bad bedroom experience for you and your partner, you should call us because you want your intimacy to be fantastic, both for you and the one you love. At Tri-State Men's Health, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we're a medical practice focused on men's sexual health, we can offer many treatment options and even combine treatments to find the right one for you. Which means if you're like most of our patients, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and make a change from good enough to really good. And for a limited time, we're offering new patients a free first visit to help you get the care you deserve. This includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose to demonstrate to you the amazing effectiveness of our treatments. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you. Tri-State Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Going up. Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up. Going up. But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button. Going down. We've lowered prices. Get one line of 5G data for $40, period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
Bats are us when dreams sunk in. Bats are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
Bats are us when dreams sunk in. Bats are us.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I always have the greenest lawn in the neighborhood. It's luscious. I swear by 2 things, water and Weed Man. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will make sure your lawn is weed-free and looking gorgeous. Of course, they get rid of weeds, but they also do aeration, mosquito control, grub control, crabgrass prevention, and flea and tick control for your 4-legged friends. For a free quote, give them a call, 614-733-3747, weedmanusa.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
It's Lindsay's one and only trade-a-thon.
Trade up today and get $1,000 above market for your vehicle. Choose a 2025 Honda Ridgeline RTL or an all-wheel drive HRV LX or a CRV LX and pay just $299 a month. 3 models with one very low Lindsay price.
Trade up to the reliability of a new or certified Honda.
So lock in your price today. The one and only Lindsay Honda Trade-a-thon is back. See lindsayhonda.com for details.
I'm an old school Joe. I never lay juice I don't want to lay. I don't hate my money like that. I'd rather lay -108 than -110, wouldn't you? Prime Sports is Ohio's full-time reduced juice sportsbook. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Evan Cohen here. Picking a place to build a life is a lot like selecting a draft pick. Make a decision that will set you up for long-term success. Pick Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, you'll find dynamic career opportunities, beautiful seasons, affordable living, and legendary weekends. From its high quality of life and great schools to its fine arts, culinary, and pro sports scenes, Wisconsin gives you so much to look forward to. That's why you should pick Wisconsin. Learn more about making Wisconsin your home. Visit pickwisconsin.com.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reese. Sir, thanks to a 55-point win last night in Miami, the Cavaliers are on to the Eastern Conference semifinals. Cavs beat the Heat 138-83 last night in Game 4 of their first-round series. It's the largest margin of victory ever in an NBA postseason game. Cleveland waits for the winner of Indiana and Milwaukee. The Pacers host the Bucks tonight in Game 5 of their first-round series. Indiana leads 3-1. Also on the court last night, the Warriors beat the Rockets 109-106. Golden State leads Houston 3-1 there. In baseball last night, the Reds made it 5 straight, beating St. Louis 3-1. Redlegs are 16-13. They'll play the Cardinals again tonight at 6:40. You can hear that game on the Fan following the Buckeye Show. As for the Guardians, Cleveland was crushed by Minnesota 11-1. Guardians are 15-13 overall. They'll look to hold a 3-game slide tonight against the Twins at 6:10. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour on a Tuesday. Mike Renner going to join us coming up at 10:30 on the NFL Draft. Right now, though, time for a little dose of the real truth. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present The Real Truth.
Sponsored by Diamond Cellar. Over 76 years of experience and guaranteed lowest prices on Sawmill Road or diamondcellar.com.
The Cleveland Browns will trade Kenny Pickett or Joe Flacco before this October. Is that the real truth?
No, I don't think it is the real truth. I think they'll keep them both. October's interesting because I feel very confident they'll keep them both through the beginning of the season. When is the trade deadline in the NFL? Is it November? I think it's into November. I know that the Browns and Andrew Berry were pretty adamant about loving to see that thing pushed back a little bit because it's a little sooner than I think the NFL wants it to be.
It's Tuesday, November 5th.
Okay. Then no, for sure not. I don't think so. I think they are going to roll with – I think they want to see what they have with Pickett, and I think Kenny Pickett will be given a very long leash to see if he can be the guy there. I think they like him. They went out and acquired him. So I think there's some real opportunity there for him to kind of win that job. I don't think that was just, hey, let's take a flyer. I think they want to see what he is. I think they love Flacco for the fact that it's an adult in the room and everything that goes with that. And there's, he's one of those guys that can pop in and you can win some games. So I think both these guys will be there through October. The trade deadline is interesting. But my hunch is that they will not, that it's not the real truth, that those two guys will be there through October.
So this could be the real truth if there's some kind of catastrophic training camp injury, earlier in the season injury for some team at quarterback, especially a team that thinks they can contend. But I tend to agree with you, Bo. I don't think it will be before October, although I do believe, and I just can't get on the Kenny Pickett train, quite frankly. Yeah. But I do believe if one of these rookie quarterbacks shows them something, shows them enough that, hey, we really think we've got something here, yeah, I think one of them will be gone by the deadline.
One of the rookies? Or
no,
one of
one of the
Flacco?
Pickett or Flacco.
Pickett or Flacco, yeah. It's going to be really... Now, I don't think there's any way they'll do it. They'd be a great Hard Knocks team. They've been on Hard Knocks recently, so I don't think they can say no. And they were just on Hard Knocks AFC North, so I don't think any of the AFC North teams are going to be. Pittsburgh would be amazing to be on Hard Knocks, but they just did it. So I don't think any of the AFC North teams will be. But they would. How Kevin Stefanski handles training camp with those 4 quarterbacks is going to be fascinating.
Will Howard will start over 3.5 games for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Is that the real truth?
So I'm just going to work under my theory that I think they know they're getting Rodgers. So I think the reason I went 3.5 here is I could see Howard starting. I probably should have went 2.5. Let's live flip it. Let's make it 2.5. I still think it's under. I think I think he could start a couple of games for them. And I think it could be towards the end of the season where either they have it wrapped up already or the season is lost in terms of making the postseason. I think they would want him to start some games. They know who Mason Rudolph is. They don't need to see him play anymore. Will Howard is a 6th-round pick. A lot of people thought he'd go sooner. I think he's going to get a couple of starts, but I think 3.5 is a little too high. To me, it feels like 2 starts for Howard this year in Pittsburgh. So I'm going to go under, not the real truth.
This is not the real truth to me. And the reason is the guy you said, Mason Rudolph. And the Steelers, for some reason, love Mason Rudolph. They have a real affection for him.
They do.
And what he does in that quarterback room. So, I mean, I think we all believe somebody else is coming in to start, and we all believe it's Aaron Rodgers. So Mason Rudolph would be the backup. I just don't see, even if Rodgers would go down or they're out of it, they're going to give those starts to Mason Rudolph. So, no, this is not the real truth.
I disagree with you on that. I don't think they need to see any more from Rudolph. I think he's the safety blanket. So I don't think that they would need to see. I think Rudolph would. Here's where I would agree with you. If they're in the postseason hunt and Rodgers goes down with an injury, then I think they play Rudolph. I guess my scenario is more like we're playing meaningless game at the end. They don't need to see Rudolph. I think we both could be right on that.
And that could be happening, but do we believe the Steelers will not be playing meaningful football at the end?
I think they could have either had, maybe they have it already clinched.
Oh, okay, maybe a situation like that.
Like that, yeah, where they're already clinched. They're not going to have a losing record. They don't.
Emeka Egbuka will win NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. Is that the real truth?
Yeah, I think we're having a trend here. I don't think this is the real truth either. I think it'll be Ashton Genty who will do it with the Raiders. And I think part of it is just going to be opportunity for Emek, right? So, like, he'll benefit from the Godwin stuff. But the way Bake plays, it's if all else fails, Mike down there somewhere. So just think about this. Jackson Smith-Njigba, who had a really good second season in Seattle, as a rookie in Seattle with 63 catches for 628 and 4 touchdowns, playing with Lockett and DK Metcalf. So I think he's more in line. I think he'll be more in line with that statistically, maybe a little bit more, but I don't think he's going to be like a 1,200-yard receiver year one. So I don't think that it's the real truth that he's going to work, because you're going to have to be there. Just think about this. Marvin Harrison last year on 116 targets had only 62 receptions, 885 and 8 touchdowns, and big chunks of those were in a couple of games. It's just hard right away to be like a 1,000-yard receiver. So I don't think that this is the real truth. I don't think he's going to get the opportunities.
What's crazy about those numbers with Marv is how similar they are to his dad's rookie year. They're so close, it's unreal. I don't believe this is the real truth because, as you said, Bo, there's a lot of mouths to feed down there in Tampa. So Emeka could have a great year for them, and he could still be third on their team in receiving yards, possibly. We know Ashton Genty. Well, we think Ashton Genty's going to get the ball a lot. I think these tight ends, all of them, Warren, Loveland, Mason Taylor, Harold Fannin for the Browns, I think they all have a chance to have really good years. And let's not forget, not only will Cam Ward be starting in year one, but I'd have to think Jackson Dart is starting in New Orleans, too. And it's not like New Orleans doesn't have weapons.
He's with the Giants, right?
Or the Giants,
Dart.
excuse me.
Yeah. I mean, they have Russ.
Shuck is in New Orleans, and he'll probably be starting, too.
Yeah. I wonder what was Olave like as a rookie? Because that's kind of my apples for apples. Did Chris play a full? I'm pulling it up right now. All right, so okay. So this would be like the high end for me of like Mech's rookie year was what Olave did, which was 72 for 1,042 and 4 touchdowns, and that probably doesn't get it done in terms of NFL. I think Genty's going to be leaned upon heavily with the Raiders, heavily.
Kirk Cousins will end the 2025 NFL season on a team that's not the Atlanta Falcons. Is that the real truth?
Yeah, I think this is the real truth. I think you're either going to see, maybe my theory is wrong and Pittsburgh is not getting Rodgers and they will have to panic and get something for Cousins and they will be the team that reaches, or you're going to see a training camp injury on a contender. The other thing to watch here, guys, is Minnesota. Watch Minnesota for Cousins. If JJ isn't all the way back health-wise, remember there's that second surgery with JJ McCarthy in Minnesota. We know they love him a lot and still love him long-term. But if he's not looking quite right in camp, could I see Cousins paratrooping back to Minnesota? Yes, I could. Familiarity in offense, dome, all of it. That feels like, to me, a place he could land pretty easily.
I mean, that's why Aaron Rodgers isn't a Steeler right now, right? It's because he's holding out hope that J.J. McCarthy's not going to be ready and he can sign with Minnesota.
Like
I do kind of I kind of feel like this is not the real truth. I kind of feel like he's going to be on Atlanta's roster all year because the quarterback musical chairs, there's not a lot of spots left, right?
No. It would take an injury bake, right?
Yeah, it would have to, I would think. Have to take an injury where someone needs a quarterback late. And even then, what do you have to give up? How much salary do you have to take on from that? There's a lot of questions with Kirk Cousins in trying to acquire him. So I think he's kind of set, and he's going to be Michael Penix's backup all year.
Yeah.
The offseason for the Miami Heat started yesterday. They will move on from Eric Spoelstra in said offseason. Is that the real truth?
You said that with such happiness in your voice.
The beatdown. That was... I always have a soft spot for the Heat because of Chris Quinn on that staff, but boy, that was a beatdown. I do think I don't think it's a Spoelstra problem though. I don't think it's that. I think it's a Pat Riley problem.
Same.
I think what he did, like being like the big strong man and pushing back on LeBron James all those years ago. Who have they gotten to come there in true free agency? Didn't they trade for Jimmy Butler? Or did they? I can't remember if they trade for him or if he was a free agent. But that is coming out. If you go back to when Braun and Bosch signed there, I just assumed that after them it would be Durant, Giannis, one free agent after another. And so what is keeping them from it? Because it's not the location. I mean, NBA players, I would imagine Miami is second only to playing for the Lakers in terms of NBA players wanting to be in a city. I can't imagine that there's one that they love more than, other than LA. And Miami has no state tax. It might even be Miami. It could be Miami. Florida has no state tax. Could be Miami regardless. So to me, I think they have a Riley problem. That Riley's just a little bit too old school for this young generation of people when they become available because they're not signing those guys. And to me, they should be like the number one free agent destination.
Yeah, Spoelstra, I understand that every great relationship in sports at some point comes to an end. This just doesn't feel like the time to me with Spoelstra in Miami. He's been such a vital part of that organization for so long, and he's a really good coach. Like, if he came available, I'd think every team in the league would have to consider it, right? Unless they already had a really good established head coach. So he would be coveted as soon as he hit the market. I just don't see this being the end for his time with the Heat.
Yeah, it's odd that they haven't had more though, because that's a pretty sweet place to live. There's no doubt. A really interesting exchange on Buffalo radio between general manager Brandon Beane and a couple of guys hosting Sports Talk. And it gives you kind of a window into how rabbit ears affect general managers from time to time. We will have that for you. Plus, Bill Belichick's girlfriend, his lady friend, is all over social media today. We'll tell you why coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
We've all been there. You come home after a long day only to find water dripping from the ceiling. Your roof has decided it's had enough. And now frustration sets in. Another unexpected problem added to your never-ending to-do list. At Newman Roofing, we get it. That's why we make the process simple and stress-free, handling every detail with professionalism, so you don't have to worry and can get back to the things that matter most to you. So, how do you begin? Step 1, schedule your free estimate by calling our office at 614-NEW-ROOF or visiting our website, newmanroofing.com. Step 2, meet with one of our trusted representatives who will guide you through the best plan for your home. Step 3, we get to work, and you watch your roof transform before your very eyes. Whether it's your roof, gutters, or siding, the Newman Roofing team is here to guide and support you every step of the way. Call today at 614-NEW-ROOF to schedule your free estimate and experience the Newman Roofing difference. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Now at White Castle, you can get 12 chicken rings for just $3.99. Tender on the inside, crispy on the outside. Choose from classic or our new Cheddar Blast flavor made with real cheddar cheese. White Castle. Follow your crave. Limited time only at participating castles. Tax not included.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here with a challenge. Well, a challenge might not be the best choice of words, so let's say an opportunity. Take the opportunity to lose 40 by the 4th with Awaken 180. Has a different ring to it when you have a finish line, doesn't it? 40 by the 4th. Maybe you looked at the scale this morning and it read 230 pounds. How about it reading 190 by the 4th of July? Maybe the scale says 300. Wouldn't the 260 number be a little nicer on your eyes and on your knees? It's attainable if you have the same results we all had with Awaken 180. I dropped 40 pounds in just 8 weeks. There's no reason you can't drop 40 by the 4th and be feeling as great as I still do now. Ring Independence Day in healthy, confident, and most important, feeling happy. You reached your goal with the help of Awaken 180. So fire up your grill and grab your beverage of choice because the weight's staying off thanks to free support for life. 40 by the 4th. Set your goal and reach it. Reserve your consultation online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Much like a vampire, we need to be invited into your house. But once we're in, we never leave. Listen to The Fan on your Alexa or Google Home smart speaker. Just say play 97.1 The Fan and prepare to be amazed. Do it now.
We plant trees because people need trees. And when planted in the right place, they have great impact. Trees help slow climate change, filter our air and water, foster biodiversity, and strengthen our communities. They create the kind of transformational change the world needs now. April is a month filled with opportunities to care for and plant trees. For planting resources, contact an Ohio ISA certified arborist who can help you learn how to take the best care of your trees. Visit trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org.
Have you ever told a friend?
Oh, I'm fine.
When you really felt?
Just so overwhelmed.
Or sent a text?
Can't sleep. Are you awake?
When you couldn't find the words to say?
I'm scared to be alone with my thoughts right now.
Then this is your sign to reach out to the 988 Lifeline for 24/7 free confidential support. You don't have to hide how you feel. Text, call, or chat anytime.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today is a 10 TV weather impact alert day for strong to severe storms this afternoon into the evening. We will start off partly sunny with highs climbing into the low 80s and breezy winds developing. And then after the storms pass, lows tonight down into the 50s. Cooler on Wednesday with chances of rain in the second half of the day. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
The only radio show Ryan Day listens to when we're holding him hostage, making him listen to a radio show. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. 10 feet tall and bulletproof isn't just a saying, it's a way of life. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Hey there, friends. It's your Uncle Bo here, and proud to tell you about my friends at Diamond Cellar who know that forever starts with the perfect diamond. For over 78 years, their families help generations of couples celebrate love with brilliance, quality, unbeatable prices. At Diamond Cellar, bigger diamonds, better prices are their promise to you. Whether you're popping the question or upgrading your sparkle, trust the experts at Diamond Cellar because diamonds are their forte. Visit Diamond Cellar today, Sawmill Road or Easton Town Center. Learn more at diamondcellar.com. We get the catalog from the Diamond Cellar, and my wife is always very quick to look at the back of the catalog where they have the engagements and relive ours, of course, because I did that one pretty good. That one I kind of did. That was a bit of a victory for me. I did pretty good on the engagement side of things in terms of the planning and getting that one done right. All right, We talked a little bit about this. I talked about this on Morning Juice, too. Jordan Hudson. Well, this is Belichick's girlfriend. So he talked about the CBS. Everyone's seen it by now. So Stuart Mandel with this from The Athletic. After tweeting 5 times in 6 years, Jordan Hudson has been retweeting supporters nonstop since the CBS interview. And all of this is in response to, a lot of this is in response to the Pro Football Talk kind of their story of it, but it's not just that. It's Portnoy, it's all of them. She retweeted somebody on Pro Football Talk, or maybe she just didn't want her or their personal relationship should be part of the interview instead of football. I think if they don't want to talk about it, they shouldn't. And if anything, your article demons why, trying to embellish and take things out of context in response to somebody tweeting about, or in response to a tweet from Dave Portnoy, she retweeted this one. Bill looks like he wants to reach across and strangle the life out of the interviewer. I kind of wish that he did. I talked about that yesterday, that they probably feel like CBS did them a little wrong there in this thing. But that's also a great deal of naivete to think that that's not what CBS is going to ask him about if she's omnipresent in it. If she wasn't there, maybe they don't. It's probably one question, but she's lording over the whole thing, as they made abundantly clear. And at that point, like, it becomes part of it. If she's not in the room, I think it's probably one question and you move on.
Yeah, CBS,
I really think that.
Is in it for the interesting. Like, if you want to pimp your book, fine, but this is the trade-off.
She retweeted this one. Nothing awkward about it. Imagine a private person wanting to keep their private life private. No. When you
not
start doing, you're not a private person when you're going on Instagram and you're fishing her out of the ocean in a mermaid outfit. You're not a private person when you're on Instagram and she's posing on your feet in a yoga pose doing the Titanic. That's not a private person. You're not a private person when she's walking up and micing you at the spring game. I promise you this, they reached out to CBS, not vice versa. They reached out to CBS to try to pimp the book. That's what it was about. Don't make it about anything more than that.
You're also not a private person when in February you posted the whole story of how you met on your own Instagram.
Yes.
All they did was ask you a question about something you already put out there in the public.
Do you believe that? I asked Bob that. Do you believe that, like, a 22-year-old Bill Belichick sitting in first class?
No.
A 22-year-old woman gets on a plane and he stops her to comment about her book?
It's a really nice book you got there.
I just don't think so.
I mean, maybe if you're sitting next to someone the whole time and you notice they're reading that or something, which is how it sounded. I don't know.
Maybe.
Shoot or shoot, Bo.
I think she's the shooter in this instance.
That's what I think too. I don't know. I said this too. Like, if that was the case, and it was simple of he stopped her because of the textbook that she was reading or whatever the story allegedly is. If that was the case, how many times did he try that before this one worked? Because my guess is that if you were doing a cross section of 22-year-old women, my hunch is most don't know who he is. We know who he is.
He's not batting 1,000.
No, he's not Tom Brady sitting there asking out 22-year-olds over and over
again. So the Tar Heels host Clemson Saturday, October 4th. That'll be the 5th game of the season for North Carolina.
Okay.
They open against TCU, then play Charlotte, Richmond, and UCF before a bye week. What do we think North Carolina's record's going to be before that game, October 4th, against top 10 Clemson?
How many games is it?
4.
2-2.
And then they get buried by Clemson.
Yeah.
And does the fan base care enough?
No.
That he's done all of this?
No, that's
my thought too.
It's basketball.
They
want to know why Hubert Davis isn't recruiting like Duke is.
Can we get North Carolina football on Hard Knocks this year?
They tried. Don't you remember this?
Oh no, I don't.
And then he pulled.
He backed out.
Yeah, they were going to back out. Like that's why she was miking him up at the spring game.
Sell books. Come on,
was
Bill.
Part of all that. So, yeah, wild stuff. Speaking of wild stuff, this goes to that kind of that thing that we talk about every once in a while, which is you'd be surprised who's listening, right? So this is an interaction that happened Monday on Sports Radio WGR 550 in Buffalo, the Jeremy and Joe show. So they had Brandon Beane, the general manager of the Buffalo Bills, on the show. They welcomed him on, and then this happened.
I was just listening to the last few minutes of your show before I came on, waiting on here. All right. Sounds like 2018 all over with you guys.
How so?
Well, you guys were bitching in 2018 about Josh Allen, you guys wanted Josh Rosen, and now you guys are bitching that we don't have a receiver. I don't get it. Like, we just scored. Hold on, let me talk. We just scored 30 points in a row for 8 straight games. A year ago, I get you guys asking why we didn't have receivers, but I don't understand it now. You just saw us lead the league in points when you add all the postseason. No one scored more points than the Buffalo Bills, including the Super Bowl champions. So you just saw us do it without Stephon Diggs, same group. How is this group not better than last year's group? Our job is to score points and win games. Where do we need to get better? Defense. We did that. So I get it. You got to have a show, and you got to have something to bitch about. But bitching about wide receiver is one of the dumbest arguments I've heard.
So put yourself in the position of the two hosts.
Oh, you just gave me a Christmas gift. If I'm one of those two hosts,
do you go at him?
Yes. Okay, you got to score points, but you didn't score more than the Kansas City Chiefs. And the week before that, you scored 3 more than the Ravens. That was because Mark Andrews dropped a pass. You got to do better than that if you want to get above the Eagles scored 40 on the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. You have got to get to that level if you want to get past the level that you are currently at.
The tone of that response, if you did that, then your tone on that is
it's so combative.
It's got to be curious how that goes, because having done this for a long time, like if you go ultra combative, then he's never coming on again, and maybe that's a win. Maybe that's a win that he never comes on again. I think it's incredibly flattering that he's listening.
Yeah,
like he's the general manager of the Bills the Monday after the draft. He's listening to the segments before he comes on, which I think is pretty interesting. But it does kind of, it's one of those things, and this kind of honestly dovetails into the Jordan Hudson stuff. Like, we have never as a society been more aware of what others think of us. And I don't know that we've ever been more sensitive to what others think of us. We have allowed for a lot of people to have access to our thoughts and feelings and give a damn. And I don't think any of it's healthy. I really don't. I don't. I'm not suggesting that's what's happened with Bean here, that he's listening all the time. Maybe he's just listening when he was waiting. Who knows? Or maybe a PR guy said it. But we definitely, like Jordan Hudson, like looking at Twitter just to see responses and then retweeting responses. Like, and she's a 24-year-old. Like, that's one thing. But this happens a lot. Durant had a burner. Like, we've never been more vulnerable in terms of our feelings publicly.
She
still does.
Several.
Or he sounds like he does listen quite a bit, or is at least
he listens to everything
back to him. And this sounds like he's had a burr with something with those guys for a while, and he just needed any excuse to go off on them. Also, usually when someone's ultra defensive like that right off the rip, there's some kind of big insecurity in them, or they're questioning something that they've been doing a lot, which is understandable because he hasn't been able to get this Bills team over the top yet. But man, I wouldn't want my GM with rabbit ears like that, responding to everything that way.
Yeah, it's really a double-edged sword when you're doing that. The rabbit ears, I just put them down, man. Get some perspective on the NFL draft from one of the best in the business. Our buddy Mike Renner going to join us in 2 minutes on that. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Guys, what's up? It's Matty Ice, and I'm here with Wendy's. And if you're looking for your next sandwich love, check out the Cajun Crunch Chicken Sandwich. This sandwich really has me feeling the heat, and it's packed with bold Cajun flavors that add that perfect little kick. Plus, it's topped with crispy onions that give it a satisfying crunch in every single bite. And did I mention this is all on top of Wendy's iconic spicy chicken sandwich? So if you love that, you have to get your hands on this Cajun Crunch Chicken Sandwich before it's gone. For that little extra kick, it's got to be Wendy's. Open until midnight or later.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit Rocket.com. Rocket. Own the dream.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, good boy.
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time to get a little smarter on the NFL draft and what happened over the weekend. When we do so, we like to talk to Mike Renner, good buddy, draft analyst, CBS Sports, joins us on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Mike, thanks for the time. Shedeur Sanders, from your vantage point, what happened there and where was the disconnect? And what do you think of the, I guess, olive branch or swing at the fences the Browns did in round 5?
Yeah, I don't think his fall was too dissimilar to a Sam Howell's who fell to day 3 in that, he was never really a day 1 talent. Some people had him that, but most didn't, right? Most didn't see him as that sort of guy. I think that was, I don't want to say a media fabrication, but it was just he's a very polarizing guy. So people go to extremes on him. And the extremes went, a lot of people saying first round because of that, when most people I talked to, I trust quarterback evaluation, just didn't see it that way. They saw this class closer to the 2022 class where, you only had Kenny Pickett go in the first round, and then a lot of guys just fell. Because in a lot of teams' eyes, there's no such thing as a day 2 quarterback. If a quarterback's a day 2 guy, well, he's not a franchise guy. And if he's not a franchise guy and you're Shedeur Sanders, then you have what we saw, the circus that we saw over the weekend. If you're bringing that to the backup quarterback position, I think we've just seen throughout NFL history, most teams aren't willing to do that. They don't want a circus for a guy who's not going to be their starter. They don't want headlines for a backup player, whatever position it is. So I think it's not super hard to deduce. It's just 5 or 6 teams who are in the quarterback market deciding that that's where they, we're going to value him. And ultimately, I think that's what ended up happening.
It's a really astute point out of you in terms of if you're not a franchise guy, then I really need you to be supportive in the room, and I need to not really hear from you is kind of what we're looking at in this back end of the draft. That's what they're looking at. Yeah. I think the other thing, Mike, that happened was the people who did had him high, and Bucky Brooks had him as his number 1 quarterback. Kuiper had him top 5. Jeremiah had him. Even Brugler, I think, had him in the top 35. So, kind of a second round type talent. Those guys are grinding film, Mike. They're not talking to him in a room. And I think they don't have access to that. So what the NFL felt about him was based on what happened in the rooms, right? Those meetings. And that's why he was passed over by everybody so many times. And that's something that's there's just kind of a little bit of a slip in the process, I think, because you have people who grind film who have viewed it kind of one way, and then NFL teams can, what you said and what I'm alluding to here, where they have a very different experience. Let's talk about the one the Browns took ahead of him. They said that Dylan Gabriel, Mike, was their second favorite quarterback in this draft to Cam Ward. Does that back up for you?
It does. They actually agree with my take on him. Now, I think I had Shedeur ranked higher just because I think his ceiling, or he could get to a higher point just because of his career trajectory and whatnot. But Dylan Gabriel, I think, is better at football right now. I thought Dylan Gabriel last year was better at Oregon. I thought that he has, traits that will translate to the NFL. And I think given his track record and the fact that he's played more football than any other quarterback entering the NFL draft in football history, that he can handle the rigors of the NFL, right? The size is the biggest concern. I think that's going to limit his ceiling and obviously limit some things he could do in an offense. But, man, I saw a guy who even when things were bad, he continually did not let it get worse. There's no, ugly games of his to point to on tape, whereas pretty much everyone else in this class has some to point to last year.
All right, let's do Browns draft haul. A lot of people thought it'd take a Godfather offer to move off at number 2 overall. Do you think they got one, and what did you make of their draft?
I thought it was, especially considering it wasn't for a quarterback. Now you're never going to get the money or the draft picks that you would get if, say, Drake May or Jaden Daniels was sitting there. Mm-hmm. But you still got way more than the draft chart says. And obviously the draft charts are even less than what analytics would say, or are even don't go as far as what analytics would say about how much you're getting back in return. Now, Travis Hunter maybe moves the needle in terms of two-way player, but he wasn't going to play two ways for the Browns. The Browns just don't have the holes to play for him to play at cornerback. So it made a ton of sense for them. And it's not like they traded down and got some ho-hum prospect. Mason Graham, to me, was the fourth best player on my board. I thought he's a tremendous defensive tackle prospect that can be an all-pro type of player at that position. So if you get that, and then you get your entire running back room, and then you get a first-rounder next year, I thought they did great coming away with that haul.
All right, let's take a look at the team down 71 South in Cincinnati. Everybody knew they had to go defense. They really did. They loaded up on it. Shamar Stewart was a guy with physically all of the checks are all the boxes are checked. In terms of production, it hasn't really been there at A&M. What did you make of that pick of Shamar Stewart in the first round, and then they buttressed that with Demetrius Knight in the second? Obviously, spent a lot of money on offense. What did you make of what Cincinnati did with their first two picks?
I wasn't surprised, but I was a little disappointed. They had one of my least favorite drafts of anyone, just because I just don't see those guys making an impact. Demetrius Knight, I thought, was a reach. Definitely hey, we have to get a linebacker. They might be cutting Jermaine Pratt. We need that hole filled. And so we fill it with the next best guy, when, to me, there were only two linebackers worthy of round 1 and round 2 picks. They went by pick 33. It was over. I think at that point, I'm waiting on this linebacker class and looking elsewhere. So it felt like they reached on that. And then Shamar Stewart, it's like when you drafted Myles Murphy 2 years ago. The timeline of him really being an impact player is 3 years down the line. And with Murphy, we're sitting here 2 years into his career being is year 3 even going to be? Is it even longer than that? So that's what I worry about with those picks, is that you kind of wanted an immediate turnaround. And obviously the draft's a little bit more longer-term decision-making than free agency, but you didn't want to take the longest term guy in terms of developmentally in the entire defensive class, in my opinion. So that's where I'm worried if I'm the Bengals, is that you could be sitting here 2 years from now in the exact same situation you are with Myles Murphy, being like, oh, we need another one now, unfortunately.
Yeah, Mike, the thing that's I do have to give them, it feels like they might be able to pull this all off. And I know you're a Cincinnati kid. You think about, they got Burrow done, they got Higgins and Chase. I didn't think they'd be able to get them both. They got them both done. It feels like Hendrickson can't go anywhere either. What do you make of what that organization is trying to do to maximize Joe Burrow's prime?
Yeah, I love what they've done in terms of keeping the talent around him. And the T. Higgins deal did not come anywhere close to what I think he would have gotten if he would have hit the open market. So I thought that was a big win for them. And obviously the offense is what they hang their hat on. But I just don't think they did enough, because I don't think the defense is going to improve. I don't think year one, Shamar Stewart or Demetrius Knight actually do anything for you. Unfortunately, as tough as that is to say, right? But it felt like you needed immediate impact guys, and you got more developmental guys, but you're sitting there with a defense full of developmental guys, right? They've invested so much on defense the last 3 drafts that it's just it was the weak link, but you don't know if any of those guys are good still. And you won't know if those 2 first and second round picks are going to be good as rookies, because that's just not that's just not where they are developmentally, unfortunately.
No, they're not. Talking to the great Mike Renner, draft analyst, CBS Sports, on the Brian Eating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. So I have a theory that the Steelers know they're getting Rodgers. I just feel like they've known that for a month. They're not letting it out, and I just have a hard time believing that organization, Mike, would be this far into the offseason without addressing quarterback bigger than they have, without knowing that they're getting him. So for whatever reason, who knows? That's my theory. I very likely could be proven wrong. So if that is the case, and Rodgers does end up in Pittsburgh, what did you make of what they did to try to maximize, the end of Cam Hayward? They got to get the Watt contract done. They acquired DK Metcalf. They still have Pickens. Drafted Derek Harmon in the first round. They get Caleb Johnson, who I liked a lot, out of Iowa, the running back. Not sure where you stood on him. And then Jack Sawyer ends there in the 4th round. He feels like a classic Steeler in every way. What do you kind of make of what the Steelers have done?
Yeah, it's not going to sound it's always hard to have like a great draft when you don't have your full complement of picks, right? When you don't have a second rounder, you have one top 75 guy. So it's not going to be like a great draft, but given what they had, I thought they did great. And I thought that not going quarterback was the correct decision. You know, everyone wanted to give them one. And that's, in my opinion, even if Rodgers isn't there. Now, obviously, you've kind of tied your rope to this horse that you don't. It may just wander off, right? You have no clue. It's Aaron Rodgers, obviously, but there's no other option for him either. So, like, if he wants to play football, this is it. So I think that's what you had to do. Unfortunately, it's the bed you made, but it was such a bad quarterback class that I was not going to go reaching. Your roster is good as is right now. It's good enough. And I thought Derek Harmon was a steal at 21. I think Caleb Johnson is the ideal fit for Arthur Smith's offense. And now you kind of have the pieces in place. And what they did on the offensive line the past two drafts, it should be one of the better units in the league, should be the best unit they've had there since like 2017, 2018. So from all those perspectives, like if Rodgers is there and he's healthy and he plays a full season, like the guy we saw maybe even his last year at the Packers, it's a playoff team. They could win the North. But there is a lot of ifs right now for that Steelers team.
Mike, I'll get you out of here on this one. What did you make of Will Howard going in the 6th round? What did you see from him from a prospect, and what do you see for him as an NFL player?
That's kind of where I evaluated him. I thought he was a guy who was great backup sort of traits in terms of his leadership, in terms of, locker room, all that. But I just didn't quite see starter upside. I know he has a strong arm, but just a little too robotic. While like he can add on as like a guy in the running game a little in like short yardage, he doesn't really use the athleticism as a passer, and that's kind of a prerequisite in today's NFL, is to be able to make those plays outside the pocket, to have that aspect to your game. And I just never saw it on tape, either Ohio State, Kansas State. It wasn't a consistently effective aspect. So I think he's, great backup, but that's probably all you're ever going to get.
Mike, you're the best, buddy. Thanks for your time. Greatly appreciate it.
For sure. Thanks so much for having me. Have a good one.
All right. There he goes, Mike Renner, draft analyst at CBS Sports, joining us on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline, one of the best in the business when it comes to evaluating players heading into the National Football League. We'll play a little thing or not a thing up next, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs feature helps you stand out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a mysterious room of long-forgotten, moldy mascot memorabilia. Often pitched by ad agencies, always rejected by NJM. Is it real? We may never know. But what is real is NJM's dedication to doing what's right for their customers. Astoundingly, they're proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Learn more at NJM.com.
Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries. When it's time to ask life's biggest question, make sure your ring says it all. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar, and we've been helping couples say yes for over 78 years. From brilliant cuts to better prices, the quality and selection of our diamonds is unmatched. Because diamonds aren't just our business, they're our legacy. Visit us at Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road or Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondcellar.com. Bigger diamonds, better prices, guaranteed.
Colin Mann here for the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Watching big events are more fun at Hollywood Casino. For example, there's this draft thing coming up. Large men get selected to move to different cities and play football. That's all I'm legally allowed to say. Not only do you get the excitement of on-site wagering and camaraderie, there's prizes to win at the Sportsbook. And sign up for Penn Play Rewards and play up to $500 on the house. Do it now. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's Lindsay's one and only trade-a-thon.
Trade up today and get $1,000 above market for your vehicle. Choose a 2025 Honda Ridgeline RTL or an all-wheel drive HRV LX or a CRV LX and pay just $299 a month. 3 models with one very low Lindsay price.
Trade up to the reliability of a new or certified Honda.
So lock in your price today. The one and only Lindsay Honda Trade-a-thon is back.
See lindsayhonda.com for details.
Hey, it's Anthony. You know what the slogan is at the Good Feet store? Good feet, good life.
Friends have asked me, how are my personally fit arch supports different from the inserts and insoles they can buy online or in department stores? There are big differences. My Good Feet arch supports are designed to provide me firm yet flexible function. What does that do? They actually help correct poor foot biomechanics, which leads to providing me long-term pain relief. I was also the guy who thought, well, if I buy good shoes, my feet won't hurt. It wasn't a bad thought. A lot of people think shoes are always the problem, when in reality, it's often the foot that goes into the shoe that's the real source of discomfort. When I got my personally fit Good Feet arch supports, my feet felt stabilized. The pain and discomfort went away. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people just like me discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. They're on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
Guess what? Our ugly faces are on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan and watch all your favorite shows. Laptop, phone, tablet, smart TV, we're everywhere. Bring us in the bedroom with you. Yes, The Fan.
We can come the day you call us.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Brian, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Okay, ask away.
Sometimes when we're talking, I hear a little sparkling sound.
Is it when one of us says, all you have to do is point?
There it is. Did you hear that?
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic? Like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring is here, and it's time to refresh your yard with Ohio Mulch. With 15 convenient locations in Central Ohio, it's easier than ever to get your mulch ready for the season. Need it delivered? No problem. Save $50 on home delivery when you order online. Whether it's mulch, soil, or even stone, we've got your yard covered. Visit OhioMulch.com today and spruce up your garden with the best.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, greener, greener, better.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Tuesday edition. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
Last night, ESPN's Shams Charania reported that Shaquille O'Neal has become the Sacramento State men's basketball general manager. It's going to be an unpaid voluntary role for Shaq. His son, Shaquille O'Neal, plays for Sacramento State, or will this upcoming season. Their new head coach, Mike Bibby, got Shaqir to transfer from Florida A&M in late March. Shaq, just the latest of high-profile athletes that have accepted general manager roles with schools. Steph Curry's at Davidson. Trae Young is the same role at Oklahoma. Andrew Luck, of course, is the GM for the Stanford Cardinal football program. Thing or not a thing?
So I haven't seen any of these work. So right now I'm going to say not a thing. Sure, it's great for Sac State to have the affiliation. Sacramento State's they're trying to go Big D1. They're trying to get into the Pac-12 or whatever the Pac-12 is going to be. They actually may be in it. I could be wrong. It could be ahead of myself a little bit. I think maybe it's possible they already could be headed in that direction, but that's what they're trying to do. There's some big money people behind Sac State in the football perspective and from a basketball perspective. They're willing to throw a lot of money. Will Shaquille O'Neal put his own money on it? That's what it'll be, because you can flip in college basketball in a second with NIL. You can pay for a class right away. By the way, Rutgers did that, and what did that get them? They're going to have 2 of the top 5 picks in this year's NBA draft. They didn't make the tournament. So right now I'm going to say not a thing, because I haven't, whether it's Luck, you mentioned Trae Young. Who else did you have in there?
Steph Curry.
So far it hasn't done anything for any of those teams.
Yeah, they're obviously trying. Didn't they just get Jaden Rashada to the football program as well? So they had to throw some money around for him to go there. But, yeah, I don't think this is a thing, especially will Shaq be there after his kid leaves the school? And I think you want someone in a situation like that that's going to be here for quite some time, kind of like a Mark Pantoni, who has been at Ohio State forever and was kind of doing a GM role before a GM role was even a thing. So, it's a big name. I don't know if it'll do anything. I don't think it's much of a thing.
So we had talked about it yesterday. We talked about it today. We'll probably talk about it until Bill Belichick's no longer at UNC. But because nobody asked for it, Colin Cowherd weighed in on the Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick drama yesterday.
She's his PR director. She's Bill's influencer, which he didn't need in the NFL, but you actually do in college. I thought this was kind of a cringy thing, but she is multiple things for Bill. Assistant, girlfriend, social media producer, PR handler. She fills a lot of roles. And people are kind of uncomfortable with it. And, I mean, sometimes in life you don't have to wear a headset to call plays. She's calling plays for Bill, which he didn't need in the NFL, but he actually does in college football, where players now select you. So she's out there as his PR and social influencer saying, Bill, that doesn't play. Don't talk about that. Do talk about this. Now, if she starts to break down offense on the whiteboard next week, I'll step in and change my opinion. But as I watched this interview, I thought, I've watched interviews like this. CEOs have people like Jordan Hudson.
No, they don't.
You know, presidents, politicians, senators, governors, media execs. They all have people like Jordan Hudson. She's taken the role seriously. I mean, again, I thought it was weird. I didn't know what to make of it. But when I watched that interview, I'm like, I've seen that before from PR directors.
Thing or not a thing?
It's a big reach. Listen, Ohio State is recruiting at as high a level as anybody in the country. Ohio State is retaining athletes at as high a rate as anybody in the country. And I don't have, some 24-year-old running Ryan Day's life. And if you say, well, that's Ohio State, you have a brand, it's easy. Okay, fine. So do that with SMU. Do you see that going on at SMU? No, you don't. He doesn't need this. He doesn't need a PR director. He doesn't need, and quite honestly, my hunch is this is playing negatively for him with 16, 17, 18-year-olds. I think Cowherd is dead wrong on the idea that he needs this. I don't think he needs this at all. I think if you're selling North Carolina football, you're going to play for a 6-time Super Bowl champion. That's what you're selling. Not, he's got a 24-year-old girlfriend. I think this would be much better if this was all done behind the scenes. Like, they like each other, great. Live your life. Who am I to judge? I'm not judging anybody. But the idea that this helps him in college football, to me, is nonsense.
I understand the point that he's making about Bill as a 73 or 74-year-old man trying to sell himself to younger people, and maybe he needs to kind of see or have a younger spin on things. But you're right. This situation right now is doing more harm than good. Most people don't ever know who the PR director is, right?
No.
You don't. They're not out in the face. They're not the story of the story and whatnot. So yeah, this is. I understand the point, but this is definitely hurting North Carolina football.
On Monday, Bleacher Report's NBA insider Jake Fisher says to keep an eye out for the San Antonio Spurs to make a big free agent splash in the summer.
San Antonio is definitely going to be, without a doubt, a team that is looking to continue to upgrade and add talent around Victor Wembanyama. We're already seeing the process happen. We're seeing Chris Paul sign there. We're seeing them make a move and go out and get the guard that they were looking for. They were looking to pair Victor Wembanyama with an all-star level guard. There could have been many options on the board. Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul wanted either his guy Darius Garland there last summer, or he wanted to get De'Aaron Fox there, and he got Fox there. So what's next? I mean, people around the league are already starting to whisper about San Antonio potentially being a spot to bring former Texas Longhorn Kevin Durant this summer. You best believe they would call about Giannis Antetokounmpo as well. So that's a team that people in the league are certainly looking at.
The Milwaukee Bucks are on the brink of elimination. Game 5 against the Pacers is tonight at 6 o'clock. Indiana leads there 3-1. Thing or not a thing?
It's something how I'll do the Giannis part of this because I think that's the most interesting, because the rest of it, the San Antonio side of it, it's all going to just center on if Victor Wembanyama can stay healthy. So he's already lost. He's in his second season. He already lost a season to injury. We've gone over this a million times. Guys that build staying healthy, it's just virtually impossible. So let's do the Giannis side of it. Doesn't it mirror kind of the first LeBron stint in Cleveland, except for he won the title? He got a championship. But you think about, they kind of had this core around him. That core got old. They swung for the fences with Dame. Now Dame Achilles again. So like that came and went without anything. And here's Giannis going, I'm not a contender anymore. You know, we won this championship. I did what I said I was set out to do. I've done it. And now I'd like to play somewhere and be a contender again, because there's no real roadmap for Milwaukee being a contender in the near term. None. So I think the Giannis part of that's most interesting. I don't know in terms of San Antonio. I mean, it's allegedly a great place to live, but I think the big thing there is just, can Wemby stay healthy, which he's 2 years in and hasn't.
I think this is a huge thing. If the Spurs can somehow pull this off, I can't even imagine a basketball court with those two playing together on it, with their length, their size, and their versatility, and their ability to handle the ball and do everything that both of them can. And, Bo, you talk about Milwaukee. Man, in hindsight, it sure seems like getting rid of Drew Holiday was a bad thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt it was. All right, go ahead, Reese.
Well, just real quick, you've got Carlos Boozer on ESPN this morning saying that if Giannis is serious about winning, he'll go to Los Angeles and team up with Luka Doncic.
Yeah, I mean, I think that will be a place that, I mean, the idea that franchise is going to be able to go from, good Lord, Magic to Shaq and Kobe to Kobe and Gasol to LeBron to Doncic to whoever joins him. The fact that lottery ticket was given to that franchise is a wild thing to wrap your head around. All right, final hour of the program up next. We begin it with how Ohio State became NFLU. That's coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Oh, hey, the best football team in the country's on the best radio station in the country. Congratulations, Buckeyes. Here's to 100 more years together. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, you're the Carfax guy.
The Carfax from Carfax.
Wow.
And you, sir, work at Tire Discounters.
I sure do.
The Carfax top-rated service center.
Oh, right. You know, a lot of that's because of our services. But people think we're just about tires.
Maybe it's your name.
Yeah?
Tire Discounters. And your jingle.
Oh, you like it?
I think it needs something.
Yeah? Like what?
Hit it. Plus brakes, oil changes, shocks, and struts, and more. Now that speaks to me.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Did you ask about Pick 3 from the Ohio Lottery? Okay, Pick 3 is a daily draw game where you pick 3 individual numbers between 0 and 9 that can be played straight, where numbers must be drawn in an exact order or boxed where they can be drawn in any order. You can win hundreds, and wagers start at only 50 cents. Want to learn more? Okay, go to OhioLottery.com or the Ohio Lottery app. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here with a challenge. Well, a challenge might not be the best choice of words, so let's say an opportunity. Take the opportunity to lose 40 by the 4th with Awaken 180. Has a different ring to it when you have a finish line, doesn't it? 40 by the 4th. Maybe you looked at the scale this morning and it read 230 pounds. How about it reading 190 by the 4th of July? Maybe the scale says 300. Wouldn't the 260 number be a little nicer on your eyes and on your knees? It's attainable if you have the same results we all had with Awaken 180. I dropped 40 pounds in just 8 weeks. There's no reason you can't drop 40 by the 4th and be feeling as great as I still do now. Ring Independence Day in healthy, confident, and most important, feeling happy. You reached your goal with the help of Awaken 180. So fire up your grill and grab your beverage of choice because the weight's staying off thanks to free support for life. 40 by the 4th. Set your goal and reach it. Reserve your consultation online at awaken180weightloss.com.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, good boy. Oh,
she needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
What? All the budget has to be used now? And we can use all the media buy?
Javier's marketing firm just got its dream funding.
Okay, ideas. Bobbleheads? No. T-shirt cannon? I seriously need some help here.
He needs to find marketing managers who are worth every dollar.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Sponsoring a job on Indeed gives it a visibility boost, so you can hire faster. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Cavaliers broke out the brooms in Miami last night, sweeping the Heat 138-83 in Game 4 of their first-round playoff series. The 55 points is the third largest margin of victory in a playoff game. Cleveland won the series by 122 points. That's the largest total margin of victory ever. Cavaliers await the winner of the Pacers-Bucks series, which Indiana can close out, hosting Milwaukee in Game 5 tonight at 6 o'clock. Pacers lead 3-1. Also on the court Tuesday, the Pistons look to stay alive against the Knicks. New York hosts Detroit at 7:30 in Game 5 with a 3-1 series lead. The Celtics can also eliminate the Magic with a Game 5 win tonight. In the NFL, the 49ers tight end George Kittle says he signed a 4-year, $76 million extension. Kittle broke the news on a podcast Monday. He's the highest paid tight end in the NFL. And in baseball, the Reds look for their 6th win in a row, hosting the Cardinals at 6:40. You can hear that game and breaking sports news when it happens, all on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The perfect show for quarter zips and khaki shorts. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a Tuesday. So somebody did it. Drama alert. I retweeted this. They actually simulated the 100 men versus the gorillas. One gorilla, the one silverback. And this is, by the way, exactly how I think it would go. I retweeted this. This is how I think it would go. This is how I think the men would behave. I think the men would behave how these men are behaving, and I think the silverback would behave the way he's behaved, which is dominant. I mean, just bombing people left and right. And I just don't think enough men could get close. Now, I don't know if 100 is the threshold for, like, would 150 do it? Like, what's the number that would do it? I don't understand the fatigue of the silverback either. I don't know what type of shape he's in. Like, how many swings is it going to take? Are we to assume that every swing at a human is a death blow?
It's safe to assume. At least for the first 50 people, maybe he gets fatigued. I don't know.
These are haymakers. And do you guys see this? I mean, this is a 2-minute video. Like,
I saw one that took 90 seconds.
I mean, he's just throwing haymakers, bombing people. And the men are kind, but they're not really organized. There's just male carcass everywhere. This is kind of how I think it would go. If you're just joining us, this all started because NBC asked me this 2 minutes before drop-off this morning, and then I was unaware that this is something that was happening virally around the internet, that this was something that is now being asked. I guess it was something that happened over the weekend. Bruce asked, curious what 100 Anthony Schlegels would do against a gorilla.
That could be humanity's best option.
Can we get him on the phone? Call him. See if we can call him. See if we can call Schlegs and see. This is my hunch on Schlegs. You have to remember, Schlegs has a family. Schlegs has a family now. So if you give me the Schlegs who went to the Air Force Academy, give me that Schlegs, what do I got to lose? Now we're talking. You give me Schlegs with a family, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. I think it's you have to have the best one. I think to me, and I put this on the social, to me, the only chance the 100 men have a chance is folks like inmates fighting for their freedom or Navy SEALs, Army Rangers. That they're trained, you don't ask. You just attack and go. That's the way it's got to go. I think if it's anything other than that, I don't see it. Anything other than that, I don't see it. I think men are cowards by and large. By the way, I would be a coward. As soon as I saw one of those guys start swinging,
coward,
gone. I'm not jumping on. I'd be the guy who's like trying to like grab from behind. Like I'm not going face to face with a silverback. There's no chance.
Bo, we've got Schlegs on the line. He's
right,
ready
Schlegs.
to answer your question.
Schlegs.
Where does this come from? Give me some context. No, time out. Give me context. Give me context.
I'm giving it to you right now.
How big is this gorilla? Give it to me. Size.
It's not one raised at the Columbus Zoo. It's one Africa in the wild.
Oh my, yeah.
In the wild. So no domesticated.
Like you saw. Fun. I know.
You saw the video of the tiger in the Columbus Zoo kind of being chased off by the goose. So we're not talking domesticated. We're talking in the wild, silverback, 100 men. Who do you got?
Oh, it depends on the men. Like if it's some
100 of you.
Pack, yeah, see, like I'm always betting on me because I'm not dying 100 times. I'm just letting you guys know I'm always betting on me. They're going to find a way. Like, I don't have, I got some jacked up teeth, but one of the 100, right, one of the 100 are biting stuff. Like we're all on it. And, I know you're going to kill some of us. I know it. Like, charge it to winning. You're going to kill a lot of us.
Yeah.
Okay? But I'm just expecting somebody to fish hook him. Somebody's going to yank on his balls, right? Like, somebody's going to do something. You know what I mean? To, like there's 100, man.
Fish hook him.
100. Yeah, man. Like you gotta do something. You gotta put the legs in. Somebody's gonna listen, man. You
gotta have wrestling.
You can't rip people's body limbs off. You gotta wrestle them, man. You gotta put the legs in and get him on the ground. Get him where he's uncomfortable. Yeah. Honestly, here's the real question: one gorilla, 100 Schlegs in a river or in a lake. That's the real battle because I think, too, he probably can't swim. That would be a National Geographic, anomaly. I don't know. I've never seen a gorilla swim. If they can swim, then I'm drowning. That would be a terrible one. But us, 100 of me, one gorilla, I'm doing it.
I think so this is what I said.
I'm betting. You got to bet on the guy. Like, it has to be a particular guy. If it's just some slapjake walking around with, fanny pack, this is a bad description. I like fanny packs, but those, I don't know what they're called, metrosexuals, whatever, and they think that they're really tough or whatever. They don't train
Not those
anything.
guys.
Yeah, not that. 100 of those guys gorilla all day.
All right, Schlegs. This is where I'm at.
You
pre-family. This is where I'm at. You 100 Schlegs pre-family. I would roll with you. I think you got a lot to lose now. So then I don't know. Because you're going to watch 50 of you die.
If I'm already in the battle,
you're going to see 50 of you die before you get to the end game. So I think
as long as there's one left, there's one
Schlegs left.
You only need one.
All right.
You only need one. Like multiplicity out here.
Here's the other scenarios. Death row inmates fighting for their life. I would roll with the 100 of them. Like, because it's fight or flight. And the other thing is like,
some of those guys are terrible. They use weapons. You ain't betting on them.
But I just like the numbers, the sheer numbers. The last one I said was Navy SEALs.
Oh, that's all day. They're figuring. They're fine. They will find a way.
Because they coordinate.
Dude, let me ask you, guys, we're talking about a gorilla. Did we not see Arnold Schwarzenegger take down the freaking Predator? And you're asking me about 100 of me?
He had a weapon.
Bro, who says you don't have a weapon?
No weapons. Bare hands. Bare hands.
Who says one of the 100 aren't out there, like, filing their fingernails down? You know what I mean?
I think at best you're going to – Reese brought this up, like, because he's going to tear arms and legs off. Like, so can you get a femur that you could fashion as a weapon very quickly?
Honestly, you rip one of those guys off, and you're taking it off your own guys. You know?
God, this is
OHIO.
I think young Schleg's definitely.
Friendship. Man, Schleg's. Listen, man, Schleg's 16 to 29
That's
was
the
bumpy.
one I want.
That's honestly even the 30th Schleg's was really gamey.
Yep.
Was really gamey.
That's the one I want.
This one, you want that guy. This guy right now, this 44-year-old one, he can go there. I'm as good as I once was, right? Just one time. That's all I need, one time. 100 of me, one time versus a gorilla. I feel juicy about it.
I love you, buddy. This is an old Surviving with Schleg's right here.
Dude,
that's what we just did.
I ain't doing the morning juice anymore, so bring it back.
Surviving with Schleg's is back, baby. We'll bring it back tomorrow. Great job. Thanks for picking up. I'm with you. I would roll with 100 Schleg's, but you give me prime Schleg's 16 to 31 without worrying about family. Man. I really like that. My chances there.
Oh, there might be 50 of them. Hey, you guys have a great day. Go Bucks and Cancer.
There he goes. Great. Schleg's, just call Schleg's. And of course he picks up and he's ready. Oh, the first thing he wants, context.
He goes, what in the Sam Dickens?
So we used to do this. Laurinaitis and I used to do Surviving with Schleg's. We would have him on once a week, and then we would put him in absurd situations and see if he could survive. Like, that was the whole bit. And then that turned to original. He was original host on Morning Juice.
The thing with Predator is Arnold fashions weapons of things he makes in the jungle. So if this is that scenario where you have wide open jungle and you're hunting the gorilla, I actually give 100 people a better chance to survive. But I don't think this is that.
Yeah, you also that's the thing. He was able to prepare for it. He had, he certainly had a pretty good scouting report on the enemy. I think that's part of it. And he had weaponry. Like, this is bare hands. So age 17 to 31 Schleg's, I'd roll with Schleg's on that, because those are fearless Schleg's, a bunch of little Schleggies. But he'd have to lose. He's going to watch 50 or 60 of them go in the process. So that's certainly in play. All right. The Ohio State Buckeyes and NFLU. How did all of this happen, and how much faith do NFL teams have in Buckeyes? You'll hear an NFL general manager tell you. We'll also get a mock draft from Dane Brugler as well. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Grocery shopping is a good deal better with the Meijer 7 for 7 sale. Pay just $1 each when you mix or match any 7 or more participating items. Save big on everything you need for a complete family meal, including assorted Meijer frozen vegetables, select varieties of Campbell's condensed soup, Meijer pasta and pasta sauce, and Ben & Jerry's or Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Family-friendly meals and low prices. That's the happy shopper good life at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, I remember you saying that a family business should reflect family values, that a customer deserves to be treated with kindness and compassion.
And those values will never change. The reputation you built for being fair and honest is our greatest asset.
In fact, in 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and named the Lennox Partner of the Year.
You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind. It's an honor to continue serving Central Ohio as a locally owned, family-run business.
So, whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just honest advice, Care is here for you.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
We've all got our daydreams, right? Little things, big things, things you know one day you'll do. Then out of nowhere, cancer. And all your plans don't change a bit. I would know. I'm about to jump out of an airplane with my dad. Our first time skydiving solo. And my second year since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health. All right, Dad, let's go. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans.
Have you ever told a friend?
Oh, I'm fine.
When you really felt?
Just so overwhelmed.
Or sent a text?
Can't sleep. Are you awake?
When you couldn't find the words to say?
I'm scared to be alone with my thoughts right now.
Then this is your sign to reach out to the 988 Lifeline for 24/7 free confidential support. You don't have to hide how you feel. Text, call, or chat anytime.
The Fan at 1460 ESPN Columbus is your radio home for Sunday Night Baseball.
Sponsored by The Waterworks. Call The Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling today at 614-232-2222.
The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today is a 10 TV weather impact alert day for strong to severe storms this afternoon into the evening. We will start off partly sunny with highs climbing into the low 80s and breezy winds developing. And then after the storms pass, lows tonight down into the 50s. Cooler on Wednesday with chances of rain in the second half of the day. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
If your idea of the perfect radio show is all Buckeyes all the time, then it's your lucky day, Slappy. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are. And as always, and very proudly, we are sponsored by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for over 78 years. Mother's Day approaching quickly, fellas and ladies out there listening. Always get a big win when you go to Diamond Cellar on that side of thing for mom. Look, there were a ton of Buckeyes. 14 of them were drafted. Another handful signed free agent deals as well. And this is part of it. I mean, this has been NFLU for a very long time. I think you have to go back to John Cooper, really, to see what had kind of happened with just a talent accumulation that's just not seen anywhere else. When you talk about a 30-plus year run of just delivering NFL-ready talent year after year after year. Coop had it humming, and then it took off under Tress, and then it reached meteoric levels with Urban, and it's continued. And now what Ryan has is even maybe maybe even an upshot of that. It's been an incredible run of talent. And one thing that you're seeing across the league is that NFL teams, quite frankly, can count on Ohio State players delivering. There aren't that many instances over the last decade plus. And you could, people hit me up on social with, Chase Young wasn't as great as you thought he was going to be. And there's some here and there. But by and large, if you draft a Buckeye, they're going to end up pretty good. The Browns have a ton of them. The Arizona Cardinals have a ton of them. Monty Ossenfort, who's the general manager of Arizona, was asked about drafting Buckeye players. Here's what he had to say.
I think the first thing, Greg, is it starts with is, we're not taking them because they were at Ohio State. We're taking them because the value on our board, and it just so happened that they played at Ohio State, So, but I do think there is value in coming from a winning organization, and guys that are used to winning, have seen what it, played at the highest level, played in games that are really, high stakes and through the playoff run there. So, I know those guys. And then, I think another added benefit is the competition that those guys practice against every day. I mean, we said it when we were in there, like, nobody's had to have a tougher assignment in practice the last 4 years than Denzel Burke, the guys he's had to cover in practice. I mean, holy smokes. But, I think it really wasn't like, oh, man, where's the next Ohio State guy? It's just, hey, that's where they fell on our board, and that's how it worked out.
Pantone and crew will have that sent out on social and direct message to every recruit. It's probably already been sent. Go ahead, Vic.
I was just going to say, and I think that, we know that Ohio State players, they recruit at a high level, and they bring these guys in and they play tough competition. I think that practice thing is just so key in all of this, right? Like Denzel Burke has faced Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka Egbuka, Jeremiah Smith every day of his career in practice. Like there's nothing better than that. There's nothing that he could see in a game that he wasn't prepared for.
I wonder if you're the secondary coach, like, do you have to do no, dude, you're good. Like, do you ever have self-doubt if you're covering those guys every day? Like, if you're Denzel Burke and you're having to cover the names that you just mentioned over and over and over again, is there ever like, man, I don't know if I'm any good at this? You have to say, oh, no, you're quite good. It's just you're going up against the best. Like, as you're going through that, I'm thinking about that. It's just a human nature of like, I need to get a win here at some point.
Yeah, I wonder if
self-doubt.
It makes it a little easier when you go up against other teams and they don't have near the talent at the wide receiver spot. Yeah. You're like, no, okay, I'm all right. I'm doing all right at this thing. It'll be interesting to see just how for some of these guys, or for all of these Ohio State players, some of them who are on teams that are going to make playoff runs, like how that affects them, in the length of the season versus other players who haven't experienced regular seasons like this. Are they are quicker to adapt to the longer NFL schedule than some of these other teams because we just did 17 games.
Yeah, we just did it. We absolutely just did it.
We just ended in January. Like, we're going to February? That's 2 more weeks.
2 NFL teams with the most Buckeyes on their roster, the Browns and the Cardinals. Both of those teams have 7. You guys are Browns fans long enough to know that there was a point where it felt like the Browns were allergic to Buckeyes. I remember doing this bit. This would have been... It's been the Zeke draft, the 15 draft. Like, what would happen if the Browns just took best available Buckeye at every pick?
At least a playoff team.
Yeah, would have worked out pretty good in some of these drafts. You just take best available Buckeye. Just forget about need. Just take the best one across the board. But, yeah, the Browns and the Cardinals with 7. Pittsburgh has 5. Texans 4. Jets 4. There's a ton of them, obviously. But, yeah, a ton of talent. Which Buckeye spot? I think we like Emeka's spot probably the best. He was the first one off the board, and his landing spot is pretty nice. I think Donovan Jackson's is really nice, too, with Minnesota. Like, they need that. That's position in need. Hard Simmons with Kansas City. If he's healthy, that's Super Bowls and all of it, if he can go there. I actually think both running backs ended in pretty good spots. I think Quinshon's going to be the bell cow in Cleveland, and I think Trevion will fit perfectly with what Josh McDaniels wants to do offensively in New England.
And it kind of goes back to that thing, Bo, too. Like, Emeka Egbuka was a fit everywhere. Yeah. It didn't matter where Emeka Egbuka goes. And you get that with a lot of these Buckeyes. Like, Josh Simmons probably would have been effective anywhere. Donovan Jackson. I don't know if Will Howard could have landed in a better spot than Pittsburgh. Maybe the Rams, sitting behind Stafford and learning from Sean McVay.
That's the one.
But, man, Will Howard, like, when you think of Pittsburgh quarterbacks over the years, you think of Bradshaw and you think of Roethlisberger. And both of them were big, could get you yards with their feet, keep plays alive with their feet, great leaders, smart guys. The only thing that Will doesn't have that either of those two had, I think, is the gigantic, big, huge arm. But other than that, he's cut out of the Steeler quarterback playbook.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm interested with how much college, and this isn't no thanks to Bill Belichick, how much college is starting to be more like the NFL in terms of free agencies and off seasons and length of seasons. If Will Howard kind of jumping into a quarterback room that's also going to have another addition and a lot of turnover from last year is going to help him with, hey, we're all here year one. Let's kind of figure each other out on the fly and have a better understanding of this is really up for grabs, this job. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers comes in, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers' job, but Will Howard and Aaron Rodgers are going to start off in the Steelers playbook with the Steelers team on the same step. Now, Aaron Rodgers has years more of experience, but not with anything the Steelers have to offer.
No, I think Will's going to be curious. I'm going to be very candid with you guys. I don't have the first blanking clue on how quarterbacks hit in the NFL or not.
Nobody does.
I don't know. I'm not going to come out here. It'd be so disingenuous for me to come out here and say, oh yeah, I think I've had people, man, the Browns should have drafted Will Howard in the 3rd round. Well, is that because you watched him in the playoff and you fell in love with it? Or there are traits that you see that you think would translate to the NFL level? Because I was so in on Fields and then that didn't work. Some of that is circumstance, sure, that I was a little cooler on CJ. I wasn't as bullish on CJ just because of what happened with Justin. And then CJ was great. But there were times last year where he struggled a little bit. Like the one who really put my head in a pretzel was Bo Nix. I didn't think Bo Nix had that in him. Year one in Denver. I didn't. He just felt like, to me, he felt like an accumulator in college. I know he was really good at the end at Oregon, but he was thrust into it at Auburn, and he played a ton of football, and you love that. But I didn't think he'd come on and be like starter day one playoff team. They didn't have that. No way. I didn't have Caleb Williams looking that uncomfortable over and over again.
So Daniels.
Coaching
like
and situation.
It is, but it's also like you don't know what talent translates. You don't know how they're going to see it. It's the Jane Daniels one is fascinating because it's like he was unbelievable at LSU. But I'm telling you, there wasn't anybody at the Combine who thought he was better than Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams stuck to one team. One. He was always going number one. There wasn't even a question about it. Nobody knows anything with these quarterbacks and how it's going to translate to the next level. It's just a very, very, very difficult thing to do. All right, coming up in 2 minutes, we've got some very good news for a Columbus Blue Jacket, and we have Dane Brugler's first mock. Oh, baby, there are Buckeyes in it. What are the Browns going to do with those 2 first picks? We'll have a little fun with this as well coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, good boy. Oh,
she needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Many drugs, like cocaine, methamphetamine, and non-prescription pills, are often cut with dangerous opioids like fentanyl. As a result, nearly 14 Ohioans die daily from unintentional overdoses. That's why it's important to carry naloxone, such as Narcan, a life-saving medication that blocks the effects of fentanyl and other opioids. Over the last 5 years, naloxone has saved over 83,000 lives. Help save lives and visit naloxone.ohio.gov to learn more and find free naloxone. Remember, if you see an overdose occurring, always call 911.
Take action with Logan Services. Get up to $900 off a Train furnace and up to $1,500 off a Train air conditioner. Plus, free duct cleaning on qualifying systems. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule your free estimate now. Logan Services.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, Bake, we got some good news on the Zach Werenski front. Go ahead.
Yeah, we did. This all broke while we were talking to Schlegs earlier. And that's news that we kind of figured, but Zach Werenski has been named one of the 3 finalists for the Norris Trophy in the NHL, the first Blue Jacket defenseman in history to be up for that award. So we saw Zach all year with his play. He took it to another level, and we all expected that he would be nominee for this award, and well-deserved for him. Now we'll see if he becomes a nominee for the Hart Trophy as the most valuable player.
I don't think that one's going to happen, probably just because of the fact they didn't get in. Who are the finalists for the Norris then with Zach?
I did not look at that, but I'm sure it's Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes. Those were the two. There were 3 that were the universal best 3 in the league right now.
It feels like Makar will win that, right?
It would be tough to overcome Makar.
Yeah.
I didn't know, and I probably should have known this, that Werenski's the first finalist from the Blue Jackets organization. Seth Jones was a 4th-place finisher back in 2018.
Well, in terms of award winners, like NHL across the board, we've had – because – obviously, we had the Vezinas with Bob.
You had 2 Vezinas with Bob. You had Steve Mason win the Calder Trophy as the Rookie of the Year.
That's right. I knew he won something, yeah.
In Rick Nash's 2nd season, I believe, he was tied. It was a 3-way tie for the Rocket Richard, most goals, 41.
Okay. So, first finalist. How many finalists do they do for the Hart? Just 3?
Just 3. So that will probably be McKinnon, McDavid, maybe Kucherov. Zach has a chance, though. There's a lot of people in the NHL circles that have said that Zach probably deserves the Hart more than the Norris.
It's just hard to give the Hart to somebody whose team doesn't make the postseason, I think.
For sure.
That's what's hard.
I'll tell you what, if you had 100 Zach Werenskis, they could out-cardio a gorilla. That's for sure. The time on ice that he spent this past season, that I have no doubt.
If you could pick one Central Ohio athlete to be cloned 100 times to fight the Silverback, who do you got?
Can I choose any Central Ohio athlete of all time?
No.
Just right now?
No, yeah, not in their prime, right now.
Jeremiah Smith.
I mean, it'd be tough to go against Matthew Olivier, right? That right hand, when it gets fired, if you've got 100 of those firing,
he's got to land it, though.
He's got to get close enough.
Yeah, but there's 100. You have to think one of them's getting through.
I feel like Sonny Styles would be pretty formidable.
Yeah,
100 Sonny Styles
would be good. Arvel Reese.
There you go.
Maybe.
Range and speed is who I'm looking for.
How about Ethan Onianwa?
Sure.
6'8", 340 pounds.
How's his cardio?
You're going to have a lot of swings, as we saw from the video. I mean, in the video, the Silverback's only swinging with one arm. I mean, he's not even really going.
It was 90 seconds he put down those 100 average miles.
Yes, quick. Start slinging them.
Caden McDonald, he was a big-time wrestler in high school.
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, I'm looking for, if you go up, like Miles, if you go in Cleveland, I think Miles would be the representative, but Mason Graham might be there too because he was a big-time wrestler.
Big wrestler, yeah.
I always look for, that's why I think Schlegs would have a chance. I think Schlegs won a state championship in Texas wrestling.
DeJuan Jones probably doesn't have the cardio.
His injury
he's
concerns.
Too nice of a guy too.
Yeah.
He's way too nice.
Yeah, we gotta get a killer instinct here.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you, the other way you could go is speed and quickness. 100 Jamar Chases would be pretty interesting. That's a lot of quickness being thrown at the silverback that you'd have to deal with.
I think I'd go with Reese and go Jeremiah Smith then.
Yeah, because then you have a little bit of both. Dane Brugler with his 2026 mock draft. This is just silly. And Dane says it. Like, this just, they ask you to do it, so he does it. And so he did a mock draft with The Athletic. There are Buckeyes in this mock draft aplenty. In fact, he has Caleb Downs going number 7 to the Vegas Raiders. He has Carnell Tate going 13 to the Dolphins. I think people sleep on Carnell. Don't. He's going to be a first-round receiver. That streak is going to continue for at least 2 more years and probably beyond, the way that Hardline is handling things there. So he's got Carnell Tate 13 overall, and those are the Buckeyes who are represented. In terms of the Browns draft at number 5, so he's hypothesizing being their own pick, is 5th overall. So obviously he's projecting it not to go very well for Cleveland next year. He's got him taking Drew Aller, the Medina kid. So he's returns to Northeast Ohio.
No.
Yeah. Drew Aller, 5th overall to the Browns. He also has the Browns taking offensive tackle Austin Barber out of Florida. That's with Jacksonville's pick. That's kind of a home run scenario for the Browns. If they have 2 picks in the top 10, that's about as good as it gets. He has Garrett Nussmeier going to the Steelers at pick 16. I do not believe in Garrett Nussmeier. Maybe I'd be proven wrong on that. I do not buy that at all. The thing at the top, though, is pretty wild. And I'm sure Dane acknowledges this, but he has Arch Manning going number 1 to the Saints. You want to talk about all of the things lining up. A native New Orleans going to the Saints where Grandpa played. Archie Manning to Arch Manning. Like, you want to talk about storybook. It's hard to get a whole lot better than that. All of that to be said, I see no scenario where he does not play in 2026. Most people think that he's playing 4 years. He's going to play 2 years at Texas. I see no scenario where he goes out next year, unless he just loves the team who's picking 1. That'd be it.
That, or, I mean, if Texas is able to run the table, win the national championship, would you still think he comes back?
I just don't think it's about that for him almost.
Yeah.
I think he just wants the collegiate experience. He's making $6.5 million a year.
In this scenario, would the allure of being drafted by Grandpa's team?
Yes. So that's what I'm alluding to.
Yeah.
Big. Yeah.
That's the thing there.
Unless it's a circumstance where the team drafting at 1 is just an organization, like if it were the Giants and he could follow in his uncle's footsteps, a legendary franchise. Yeah, something like that. Would that be something that would do it? Or perhaps the Saints. But again, I don't really see any scenario how he doesn't play for 2 years at Texas. The other thing that it begs good question, what was the arrangement at Texas that made Quinn Ewers unimpeachable? Quinn Ewers was drafted in the 7th round. People think Arch is going number 1 overall if he comes out. He started 2 games. He's bigger physically. He's a better athlete, has a better deep ball arm. What was the arrangement that made it so Quinn Ewers could not be benched at Texas? Now, he was benched in the Georgia game, and then they put him back in the second half. But as soon as Quinn was healthy after the injury, he was back in and Arch was out.
Maybe it's one of those stories. What was that a few years ago at Georgia where Jake Fromm had started and had played, and who did they have behind him?
Fields.
Fields. Jeez.
Justin Fields.
And they just wanted to stay with Fromm because of loyalty. And hey, we know it's a known commodity, right? They knew what they had with Quinn. They had seen it on the field. I don't know.
It's a strange one though. Like the idea that we can't bench Quinn. And everybody who's seen what they've seen of Arch, it's not like we haven't seen him. Like, he's played, he started games. NFL scouts have seen him. The one they have at number 2 here is Lenora Sellers, the quarterback out of South Carolina. This is a kid who came out of nowhere towards the end of last season. Our guy Aaron Orland's there. He's there. So obviously they feel like Air sits for a year and then this will be his job. He has Lenora Sellers going number 2 overall out of South Carolina to the Jets. And let's see if there's anything else interesting here. Caleb at 7, as I mentioned. It's funny, like everyone was like, oh, wait till you get till next year. This draft is just going to be so much better. Says who?
I feel like for the next however many years we get the same type of thing. Like, oh, 2027, look out. It's like, what?
The one that caught my eye in this was there are 5 quarterbacks in it, and the 5th quarterback is the kid Mendoza that just transferred to Indiana from Cal. He has him going number 27 right after the Bengals pick to the Rams, Fernando Mendoza. I thought that one was kind of an eye-opener.
Isn't that where our guy is? Isn't Devin Brown at Cal?
Yeah, this is the kid that transferred from Cal to Indiana.
So, yeah, Devin Brown's there.
So like this kid left before Devin Brown got there?
Yes.
So if he's a first-round talent, how the hell did he end up in Indiana?
Great question.
Like, what was everybody else doing in college football? Or is Indiana throwing around money? They got John Mellencamp throwing some money at the Indiana football program. How the hell did they pull this off? I didn't know this kid was a first-round talent.
I don't know if anybody did.
I don't think any. Yeah, I think it's all. Obviously all speculation, but I do think there's a sense of there are only so many landing spots and only so many schools willing to pump out a couple $100,000 at the quarterback position.
So he was.
Was he a 5-star recruit?
6. So he's got prototypical crazy guys. He's a true sophomore. He's played 2 years at Cal. He started for 2 years at Cal. Last year for Cal, 68%, almost 69% completions, 3,000 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 6 picks at Cal. And somehow he ended up at Indiana. So let's see how he did in the ranked games. They played several of them. Against Pitt, they lost. He was 27 of 37, 272 and a pick. Against Miami, they lost 39 to all these were close, 39-38. He was 11 of 22 for 285. Percentage is down, but those are bombs.
Are they in the ACC?
Yeah, they are in the ACC. They played Auburn. He was 25 of 36 for 233, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Rivalry game against Stanford, they won. He was 25 of 36, 299, 3 touchdowns, no picks. How the heck did this guy get to Indiana? What's going on with the Hoosier? Your boy Signetti. With the cigarettes, baby. He's slinging it, man.
Google him.
Yeah, Google him. All he does is win. They got some collective money at Indiana. You go, Indiana. Let's go. There's going to be a lot. Here's what's interesting, though. You remember last year we did this, and a lot of those mocks went Carson Beck, number 1, Shedeur, number 2, Quinn Ewers, number 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they all said, was those 2, 1, 2, 3. And Beck is at Miami. Shedeur went in the 5th round. And Quinn Ewers went in the 7th. That's how different this could all be by the time we get to next season. But
the other one in those drafts was Connor Wegman from Texas A&M, and he almost lost his job.
Yeah, no, true. Yeah, you just don't know. Nobody knows anything about these quarterbacks, how it's gonna look. The idea that Cam Ward went number 1 overall after being told last year you're a 4th or 5th round pick at best. That tells you all you need to know about the NFL draft process and what a crapshoot it is. We hit 3 things on a Tuesday. Up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's Sponsored Jobs feature helps you stand out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. Guess what? It's driving season, friends, and my friends at Jermaine Lexus are ready for you with their most popular models on the lot and ready to go with special APRs as low as 3.99%, up to 48 months, or 4.49%, up to 60 months with low lease payments starting at $389 per month on the 2025 NX. And if you're looking for a TX, they're finally available for immediate delivery. Jermaine Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton, JermaineLexus.com.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV?
What? No way, dude. Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen. To draft an agent for your team, visit shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here with a challenge. Well, a challenge might not be the best choice of words, so let's say an opportunity. Take the opportunity to lose 40 by the 4th with Awaken 180. Has a different ring to it when you have a finish line, doesn't it? 40 by the 4th. Maybe you looked at the scale this morning and it read 230 pounds. How about it reading 190 by the 4th of July? Maybe the scale says 300. Wouldn't the 260 number be a little nicer on your eyes and on your knees? It's attainable if you have the same results we all had with Awaken 180. I dropped 40 pounds in just 8 weeks. There's no reason you can't drop 40 by the 4th and be feeling as great as I still do now. Ring Independence Day in healthy, confident, and most important, feeling happy. You reached your goal with the help of Awaken 180. So fire up your grill and grab your beverage of choice because the weight's staying off thanks to free support for life. 40 by the 4th. Set your goal and reach it. Reserve your consultation online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Get Eco.
ECO. Aaron, I love that we fix ACs for free.
I don't think we do that, Jerry.
Get Eco.
ECO. Stay with me, Aaron. I'm going to explain to you how it works.
You're going to explain to me how my own invention works?
Get Eco.
ECO. Step 1. Some other HVAC company tells a customer that they need a whole new system.
Yes.
And then they call us.
They can always call us, Jerry.
Get Eco.
ECO. And then we repair their system for free.
No, then they pay us.
But we give the money back, right?
We give them back all the money they paid us to fix their old system when they finally do need a new one.
Up to $1,500, right?
Right.
Aaron, we're fixing HVAC systems for free.
Get Eco.
ECO.
We extend the life of their system.
That's right.
Those extra years are free. On me.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco. Plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians. GetEco.com.
Remember how that little girl in Poltergeist was in the TV?
They're here.
Yeah? Well, she's actually dead now. It's quite sad. Anyway, watch your favorite fan shows on your TV by subscribing to us on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan. Do it now.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Ohio Heating and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, and whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do we have on the poll today?
The Daily Fan Poll, sponsored by Caster Connection. It asks, how far will the Cavaliers get in the NBA playoffs? You have the Eastern Conference semifinals, which they are currently in. Conference finals, NBA finals, they'll win the NBA title. 38% of you think they're winning the whole effing thing. 29% say they're going to make it to the NBA finals. 27% say they're going to make it to the Eastern Conference finals. And 4% say their series upcoming, likely against the Pacers, will be it for Cleveland.
What's minimum? We didn't really talk about it much, but I mean, that was pretty crazy. They were up 40.
We had that yesterday, that Miami Heat would no-show Game 4.
Yeah, it was 8.5.
Yeah.
Was the over. I'm like, well, that's...
That ESPN predictor thing had the Cavs a 99.9% chance to win in the first quarter.
Is there what is the level? And maybe we'll talk about this a little bit more tomorrow. What is the place the Cavs have to get to for Central Ohio to care? And I'm not talking about that's where I think it's Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals would be really good.
I think that's where we're at. Conference finals against the Celtics. I think people down here would care.
I think interest. I think you start to get real buy-in if they can beat the Celtics and make the NBA finals.
So there's a clear delineation. There are people like Reese who watch the Cavs all the time and love the Cavs and pay attention to it, and they're going to watch no matter what. Then there's sports fans I think sports fans lock in if they're in the Central Ohio sports fans lock in if they're in the conference finals against the Celtics. I think it does have to. I think that's part of it. And I think you're right that from we're all in, that's finals. So we saw that when LeBron was there, where we were the number 3 market in the country when they were playing the Warriors. Number 3 in the country was here in terms of people watching once they got to the finals. So I do think finals is kind of the threshold. All right, time for 3 things on a Tuesday.
1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Buckeye Lake Marina, Central Ohio's largest selection of new and pre-owned boats. Find your next dream boat at BuckeyeLakeMarina.com.
All right, number 1 for me. So the boys get home. Beamsy had a lacrosse game. The other 2 had lacrosse practice. They get home. My wife goes, "Why isn't the pool warmer?" I said, "Because it was 50 degrees over the weekend, and I didn't want to heat it while we were up at Cedar Point playing in the lacrosse tournament, so I just kept it down." And she's like, "Well, if you don't heat it, the kids aren't going to get into it." And I said, "But if I do heat it and they get into it for 6 seconds, then I'm just wasting money. I might as well just burn money at this point if I'm doing this." So then the boys come at me. They're like, "Well, it's too cold. We're not getting in." Because it was 78 or 80, something like that. I'm, okay, fine. It was so, none of them said goodnight to me. None of them. None of the boys. My wife didn't say goodnight. Everybody just went to bed. Like, I'm in the basement watching like season 3 of Warrior. I look around. No one says goodnight. The only person hanging with me, you guessed it, Buddy Garrity. That's it. It's me and Buddy Stan now, all over pool temperature. That's where we've gone in the Bishop household.
So for the 3rd week in a row, Buddy Garrity remains at the top of the Bishop family power rankings.
It's not close.
Yeah.
I guess NBC did say goodnight, sort of. A
How do you sort of say goodnight? That's my first thing.
Night, Dad.
Oh.
Walk up. But Bootsy's my baby boy. He's always comes and gives me a hug goodnight. Nothing.
You should. What you could do is have them watch a bunch of those cold plunge videos and see if they get into it like that.
I told her, like, just think of it that way. It's therapeutic.
My first thing, we've had a lot of chat today about the 100 men versus the gorilla. This was from Matt in the YouTube. Throw Harbaugh, the cheating assistants, alumni that backed it, players involved in the gorilla exhibit, and see how the Michigan men do.
Well, I don't think it could be the gorilla exhibit. I think it's got to be like, in the Congo.
It don't matter. I like where his head's at.
Number 2 for me. So one thing that we do with the kids when they play the youth sports is they always do these pictures. And one of the things they do is that I always get are these. They get these, if you're on the YouTube chat, like these little cards. So it's like little playing cards for them. So I've gotten these since they're like little kids. So I have like an entire collection of like little sports cards of all of the teams that they've been on from the time that they're little. And I just would say, like, if you are running an organization with youth sports, or if you have a kid in youth sports and you get hit with a million different fees, I get it. But these things are, if you have the opportunity to get these or for your kids, or if you're running an organization, do it, because they're really cool keepsakes. They're cooler than just photographs. And I've got them from the time that NBC was 6.
Second thing for me, the Calgary Stampeders are on the clock. They've got the number 1 overall pick in the CFL draft, which is tonight at 6 o'clock. It looks like Curtis Rourke is probably going to hear his name called again, as he's the second, or right now, he's the top-ranked prospect in this power rankings I'm looking at for CFL players, CFL available players.
Calgary Stampeders were my team as a kid, my CFL team. They have the Stampeders logo is the running Mustang from SMU. It's the same one. I don't know who had it first, but their helmets, they're red and black, and they've got that running Mustang from SMU on the helmet. They're very cool.
My second thing, I don't know if I needed this, but my love for live radio has been reaffirmed the past 2 days with everything that happened at the end of our show yesterday, with our screen going black in here, and Reese and I had to keep talking while Maddie and Tyvis came in, or just calling Schlegs on a whim in the middle of a segment or to start a segment to talk about 100 Schlegels versus a gorilla. God, I love live radio.
I love that Schlegs picked up. I told you I would call Schlegs. And then within 2 minutes, he's on the air. His first thing is give me context.
So good.
All right, number 3 for me. Hey, this makes me very happy. I just saw this. Fish put this out in an email, and then I just saw it on his social as well. Buddy Matt Fontana going to join us here at the Fan as a part-time fill-in host. He is a great dude, really energetic host. He's going to fill in at times over the course of the summer. You're going to like him a lot. So welcome to the team, buddy.
Third thing for me, so George Kittle broke his own news about that 4-year, $76 million extension on Bussin' with the Boys. Is that where we've come now as like NFL media?
Yeah, I mean, you have so many of these guys. There's that one. There's the All the Smoke one with the NBA guys, Gilbert Arenas. Like a lot of players are using those as the breaking news platforms.
Third one for me. I had no clue this was going on, but we've got a Ryan Day press conference coming up next at noon to wrap up the spring and talk about some of the offseason.
Really? How did I miss this memo?
I didn't see it either.
No. But I mean, Jerry definitely sent an email, so it's probably a bad job out of us not to see it. So we're going to take it here at the Fan?
Yeah, it's going to be live here coming up at noon.
Good. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. Get some context, I'm sure, on the draft picks. Get some spring football wrap-up as well. So that is coming up next. Rothman and Ice will follow that here on the Fan. And thanks for listening, buddy. We're back tomorrow. Bishop and Friends, right here on the Fan.
Buckeye games have been airing on WBNS since before you were born and before your parents were born and before Abraham Lincoln was born. Trust me. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
At Meijer, we work hard to bring more locally grown goodness to life with a farm-fresh selection of crisp vegetables and juicy, ready-to-eat fruit. Whether topping off kebabs on the grill or adding healthy color to a leafy green salad, your family will definitely enjoy the delicious taste of Meijer produce. Plus, you'll appreciate the selection and savings we have to offer. That's the fresh-picked good life, priced for real life. We work hard to make life a good deal better at Meijer.
Want to learn about Pick 4 from the Ohio Lottery? Okay, Pick 4 is a daily draw game where you pick 4 individual numbers between 0 and 9 that can be played straight, where each number must be drawn in an exact order or box where they can be drawn in any order. You can win up to $2,500 on a 50-cent bet. Learn more at ohiolottery.com or the Ohio Lottery app. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly. Want to go back to the radio? Okay.
Going up. Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up. Going up. But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button. Going down. We've lowered prices. Get one line of 5G data for $40, period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. Guess what? It's driving season, friends, and my friends at Jermaine Lexus are ready for you with their most popular models on the lot and ready to go with special APRs as low as 3.99% up to 48 months or 4.49% up to 60 months with low lease payments starting at $389 per month on the 2025 NX. And if you're looking for a TX, they're finally available for immediate delivery. Jermaine Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton, JermaineLexus.com.
Feeling stressed or overwhelmed? Not sure how to get the mental health help you need? We've got your back. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442. We'll help you figure out what mental health benefits may be in your health plan. No more confusion, just the support you deserve. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442.
For over 78 years, our family's been part of your love stories. At Diamond Seller, we offer bigger diamonds, better prices, and timeless designs for every chapter of your life. From your first yes to your forever I do, trust the jeweler who knows diamonds best. Visit Diamond Seller today.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, good boy.
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news and stats to placing bets in just a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code JOEQ to get started today. That's JOEQ, Joe Q. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.